Welcome back, everybody, to a fantastic episode of the A.S.S Show. I'm Adam,
And I'm Steve.
and we are show. This is Adam Steve's show. We talk about movies and what we love, and we are backed up. So we're going to talk about a bunch of movies today, starting off with one of the biggest blockbusters of the year, I would say, even though it kind of underperformed based on what people wanted it to do. But how
Yeah.
did you feel about the Fantastic Four First Steps?
I so it has been a while. I saw it on July 30th. We are recording this now September 15th. But that all being said, I cannot wait to watch this movie again because I had a really fun time with it. I love that a lot of the choices they made, they didn't try to take a whole movie just to make an origin story. That was my favorite part about it. They give you a little bit of the intro in the beginning, but it doesn't overstay its welcome when we get to learn about these characters in a new way rather than kind of just retreading the same water that we've gone through with the 2004 version or 2003, whenever that came out, which I thoroughly enjoyed as a kid. The
Five.
Fant Four Stick, 2005.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was like perfect age then. I was 9 years old,
Mhm.
but Fant Four Stick, hated that stuff. It almost made me like ward off Fantastic Four for good, but this movie brought it all back for me. They nailed all of the casting for me, even though Pedro Pascal is in every movie. He's perfect as Reed Richards for this one. And
Mhm.
yeah, I just had a really fun time with this one. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I echo a lot of what you're saying. I think it's fun. I'm happy that, we've already done the origin story for these characters who have a very iconic origin story anyways, that we're just kind of like dumping you in the middle of what's going on, a little bit of introduction. I do like the representation of these characters here. I do think that this movie does feel a little bit like an episode, and I was underwhelmed in a certain way. And especially now, it's interesting that we're talking about it so far after we saw it, because it's kind of making me like this is almost like me reflecting on the movie because I haven't also seen it in like 2 months now.
Yeah.
So I just think that it's really short. Like it was alarming right from the jump that this movie was under 2 hours. How did you feel about the runtime and the pacing?
You know, I can't remember too much about that, but I will say I took my younger niece who is about to turn 8 this year. I took her with me to go see this one with my older brother, and she never got bored, which I feel like is a big plus for that because I feel like if it would have been that 2 hour mark, she could have been losing it just a little bit, being still a younger kid, but I don't personally. I'd have to get back to you on that as a rewatch, to be completely honest with you,
Hmm.
but I don't remember really feeling a lag or anything or feeling like it was missing key points. I do know that there were like certain scenes that could have been more fleshed out, especially because like Paul Walter Hauser has that little bit of like a likable foil almost, but then she was almost like friends with Vanessa Kirby's character, and apparently there were more scenes of them together, kind of making that relationship kind of make more sense. But I can
Hmm.
definitely see what you're saying there about like things just kind of felt not as filled out as like some other Marvel projects, but yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like it's this epic thing, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of ground that needs to be covered here. We need to establish this new team. We need to establish not only the team, but their dynamics with each other, their origin, how they're viewed by the people of their society, what's going on in this world, because there's a whole other like hat on a hat for this movie that other MCU movies, the other MCU movies had the benefit of we've already fleshed out this world. You already know how people feel about superheroes at this point in time and what the status quo is going on here, and maybe even seen these characters in other things before. So it's not like we're dropping you in the middle. And this one's like, nope, completely different universe, which is a lot for people to try to handle. I wonder if there's, people who are alienated to the franchise, like the MCU franchise already, see this like movie having taken place in a different reality and whether they see it as like, oh, so I don't need to see anything else. Like this isn't really connected to anything else yet. Okay, good. I can go watch this and just watch one singular movie. But then I also wonder if there's people out there that are like, so it's not connected to everything else. It's a multiverse thing. And, like, I don't understand. Like, that's too complicated and I don't want to touch it. Which this movie did. I mean, I don't want to say underperformed, but like, superhero movies just in general are underperforming this year, and the Marvel ones, even though most of them have been hits, um, critically at least, I'm not Captain America as much, but they all are not reaching the same box office threshold that and the MCU is used to, even in the last like 5 years post Endgame.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, like those post-COVID numbers still haven't hit where they, especially for Marvel more than anybody and just Disney in general. But yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. I like what you were saying there about like the intro because like I said earlier with my niece, we showed her, I think my older brother showed her the first two, like the Jessica Alba Fantastic Four movies, and then we
Hmm.
took her to see that one and she I feel like it was definitely one that you could bring someone to and just be like, here's just a fun superhero movie. You don't need to know about Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Man, all that story that happened in the last 15 years. We could just get to start this news story. And if you want to learn more context, I mean, obviously these characters are going to be interacting with a lot of those other guys eventually, but this is a good starting point, I think, for especially a lot of the younger audiences who they might have been growing up when still all the end game stuff was happening, but they might not have felt like
Hmm.
they could be attached to it, especially being such a younger age. So I see that as a plus, but I can also see that where you're saying of it being confusing to people too.
Well, the lightness is also difficult because not only is there so much ground to cover, but also, and it's also heavy. Like, there's a huge ethical dilemma at the center of this movie, like with the baby going on. And then, like, it's a huge world ending, like, this is one of the biggest threats to the planet in
Yeah.
any MCU movie. And so it's kind of weird that, we're truncating that into making it feel almost like an episode. I think that one take that I had about the movie is it's funny because I also grew up with those Fantastic Four movies. I really liked them as a kid. Like Rise of the Silver Surfer is one of my favorite movies as a child. I understand now it's not very good. But it's funny because I went back and watched those and the big problem with those is it's too much, especially the first Tim Story one, is it's too much hanging out. It's too much like a Fantastic Four sitcom and exploring their dynamics. And then, like Jessica Alba's not the best actress in the world, so her stuff with Reed isn't as great as it could be.
Yeah.
Uh, but here I'm like, I wish we had more time to just hang out and understand these characters' dynamics. Like, I almost wish that some of the like throwaway, like intro bad guys that were fighting in the first act of the movie was just one of the main villains, and we like saved Galactus for a big team up movie, like for a big, sequel later on because like it just I feel like it contrasts in a really weird way. Here's the fun light like throwback. Remember the 60s? Oh my God, everything's gonna look like an old-timey thing. It's gonna be the fun little Fantastic Four. Johnny and Ben are quipping at each other. But at the same time, people are calling for the death of a baby, and there's a giant Galactus like killer out there who's trying to eat your planet, and it's like, I don't know, the balance between tones wasn't working very well for me.
I liked it, especially like I feel like if you would have done too much of like saving Galactus and like teasing him, I feel like people have been trying to compare it too much to the first Guardians using like what is it, Ronin or whatever, and then teasing more of Thanos coming and shit like that. Like I don't know. I think it's better because especially because Galactus isn't going anywhere. He's going to probably stick around, especially with like the Doctor Doom stuff coming up and everything. It's gonna get pretty wild for all of the villains that's coming up. Just from a comic book standpoint, I don't know a whole lot about these arcs, but I do know a little bit, and I'm just excited to see if they can actually handle all of the insane things that could happen without getting too without stringing things out a little too far and not really making a cohesive movie, rather just being like, boom, 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 here's all of this stuff in front of you. Like, there's really good stories in the comics where these different heroes, especially like different like Tony Stark becoming Doctor Doom and things like that, all of this different shit. And if they can handle it well, I think there's a lot of cool stuff that can happen with this, starting off with this Fantastic Four movie. But it's asking a lot, especially with the last few movies just feeling really out of place.
Well, and you bring up like how this movie kind of sets us up for the future and what we might see Galactus and what's going on with Doctor Doom. I feel like that's another weak point in the movie is I thought, especially with the Avengers coming out next year, at the end of the year, supposedly at this point, even though we keep being told that the script is finished and like, but how many times can the script be finished? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I'm really nervous about that. We're hearing about fighting on set and they're like showing things and like a log line came out the other day and I was like, that was the most basic, vague log line. Like if I was trying to fake the log line, that's what I would have said. So it's just frustrating because I thought that this was going to be a more direct lead into the new Avengers movie or the next Avenger, not the new Avengers. Speaking of the new Avengers, the Thunderbolts, which we saw, has a credit scene that directly correlates with the Fantastic Four movie. And it's kind of a cliffhanger. You know, the Thunderbolts are like, I mean, I'm sure we could spoil this at this point. The
Yeah.
Thunderbolts are hanging out in their Avengers Tower, and then they see the Fantastic Four ship, you know, some kind of Fantastic Four ship come down, and we don't know who's in the ship. I know, remember that was a thing. We were like, oh, is it actually Doom? Is it the Fantastic Four? Is it the Fantastic Four we know? Like, is it the X-Men or something like different? Like, is this some, you know, misdirect? And I
Hmm.
thought that that was going to be answered here. And that's kind of the benefit of these, you know, shared universe movies is that, yeah, tune in next time to find out, you know, the answer to this little Easter egg.
Well, and I have
And
a feeling you might have been
so
onto something there, especially with them teasing Doom at the end of their movie, that maybe that could have been Doom in that movie, and we're just waiting to fully tell that until we get to Avengers Doomsday or whatever it's called.
well, we don't even reference it at all. I thought that the perfect setup for this movie, based on what we saw from the after credit scene, was the Fantastic Four lose in some kind of way, and Galactus destroys their planet, but they just barely get out. Who else barely gets out? Doctor Doom as well. Doctor Doom blames the Fantastic Four for being selfish, for not giving up their baby. And he vows to destroy them and all other superheroes who claim to be the protectors of humanity, but are actually the ones, you know, the selfish ones pulling the strings without the, you know, consent of the people. And, you know, so that would give me a reason to kind of be behind Doctor Doom, even though I know he's the bad guy and he's fighting our heroes. I understand where he's coming from, and he's almost a sympathetic villain in that, in those ways. And then the Avengers films are a way for the Fantastic Four to rehabilitate and redeem themselves for their failures in the First Steps movie. But no, I mean, like,
They're gonna have to
is it
fight their
okay if I
baby
spoiler
eventually.
Fantastic Four?
Sure.
Yeah,
It's been
okay,
out for like
so
4 months
yeah, we solved the problem. You know what I mean? Galactus is defeated, and you know
for
it's
now.
over, and the Earth is safe, and you know the status quo. You know they're oh, can we put the baby car seat into the car? Oh, how silly and goofy and relatable is this? And I'm like, but you had an opportunity to directly lead us into the next thing, and this does not get me excited, especially when the mid-credit scene of Doctor Doom. First of all, we didn't see his face, so I know for a fact that Robert Downey Jr. was not there on set, which is really annoying. They could say whatever they want, and it doesn't matter if he's actually in the suit, but it just feels cheap. Like I know how the sausage is made, and so it's kind of gross that you're pretending. And then that didn't tell me anything. Like, oh, okay, now I know that Doctor Strange is around, which you told me in the movie, that he cares about the baby in some kind of way, and that's it. You know what I mean? So I really have nothing going into the next Avengers movie.
Yeah, that's the only part that sucks with you not knowing the comics as much because the baby is like a whole thing that happens with the storyline, so that's why that's such a
I'm
huge
aware.
thing.
I mean, Galactus wanted him, you know, so even if I didn't know the comics, I can infer from this movie that Franklin is like super important character in this universe,
Yeah,
you know?
Franklin's crazy.
But I don't know. I was kind of underwhelmed. I guess I had bigger. That's why I can't wait for the rewatch, which I would like to rewatch. I really like this movie. It's fun. I don't care about the, you know, the special effect. There's a giant colossal man walking through the streets of New York in broad daylight. I'm sorry that it didn't look photorealistic. But I'll
I
tell you what
actually thought
did
it all
look
looked pretty
great.
damn good, especially compared to a lot of the other projects that have come out in the last few years.
Well, that was one of the nitpicks. One of the popular nitpicks from people and critics was like, "Oh, well, this little gross special effects." But I will defend. I think I haven't put a lot of thought into this, but I'm going to make a bold claim, and feel free to shoot me down because I could totally be wrong. I think the premier action sequence of the entire year is the interstellar chase scene between Silver Surfer and the Fantastic Four as they're trying to escape with the baby in her stomach. How did you feel? Did you like that?
Oh yeah, I definitely liked it a lot. I don't know if it's the best one, just because I've seen a lot of really good shit lately. I mean, even Demon Slayer, the animation and the action shit in that movie, holy
Hmm.
shit. I didn't think like I don't know how people can even draw that kind of shit, but regardless, yes. I thought a lot of the action stuff in the Fantastic Four, like overall, I it's been a while, but really didn't have a whole lot of problems with it. I mean, my rating on here, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I didn't give it the full 5 because I didn't. I didn't absolutely love it and like really want to go back in. There are a few other movies, one that we're going to talk about later that I really want to rewatch very badly and might even fight for my number one spot. But
Mhm.
I thoroughly really enjoyed this movie, and just as a Fantastic Four fan who's been really sad, especially since Fan Four Stick came out, this was a really good one to get it back on track.
I agree. I know I sound like the more negative one of the two of us, but I give it a 4 out of 5 with the heart. I really enjoy it. I guess my main criticism just come from the fact that it does feel like a TV episode, like a smaller thing. I wanted it to connect with
I
things
think I
more.
almost like it because of that. Like I like that it's not, I don't have to watch 10 other fucking things to get everything. I can just watch this and it's a contained story. I guess
But
that's just my
that's true, but also like this is going to be the start. Like there's the future movies, it's going to be like you have to
yeah.
watch this movie. You know what I mean?
I find that fun though because you can still watch this movie and you can watch the other movies, but it also like you don't have to. Like it could exist if they just said today it's like no more Fantastic Four, fuck it, we're done. I'm not totally heartbroken because that movie is still a contained story to me.
Mm. And I think the most damning thing I could say about the movie, and this is just my opinion, but when I close my eyes and I picture, the thing, I think of Michael Chiklis. When I picture
Always.
Human
The
Torch, I
man
think
looks like a
of
rock.
Chris Evans. When I think of, even though I don't think Jessica Alba's the best actress, that's my Invisible Woman and Ian Griffon. I don't know how to say his name.
I know he's
But yeah,
French, that's all I know.
yeah, but that's my Mr. Fantastic. So like this isn't and a lot of that's one of my main
John
points.
Krasinski's my fantastic.
I actually would love that opinion. I'd like to say that because people don't like Multiverse of Madness. Some people, which is
I
crazy to
am
me.
one of the people that absolutely adore it, so
Yeah, I really like it too. But I think that this movie feels like an apology. Like I had a hard time disconnecting myself from like the it feels like a reaction. Like they're like, okay, I'm sorry you didn't like Rise of the Silver Surfer. Look, he's not a cloud now. Look, he's a big guy with a big purple thing on his head. I swear, okay. And it feels like they're like tr desperately trying to give fans exactly what they want. And so it just really feels like a product. Instead of someone had like an idea and they were inspired and they wanted to make this movie, it felt like more of like, all right, now we got to take our crack at this and we're gonna do it right this time. And I don't
they
know, that's
did
just
though.
a little lame. But hey, no, they did, and it's good. It's just not as good as it could have been, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, actually, so that leads me to our game, the Ass Anticipation game. You drafted this with your third overall pick. It got an awesome 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it was
Hmm.
even higher from audiences. It definitely made over $100 million domestically. That brings your total up to 215, because you got 47% from Captain America and 71 from Lilo and Stitch. Still on the board for you, you have your top two picks, your big hitters here, Avatar, Fire and Ash, and Wicked for Good. But you're going to need both of them to be no, even if both of them are like 100%. I think I've already clinched
Yeah, I
the
think
victory
so.
here because I had Superman that in the meantime has qualified. That was 83%, so just a hair lower. That was my second draft pick,
Whoa. That's really shocking to me.
which I don't think either of us would say Fantastic Four is better than Superman.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so I have 80% from Mission Impossible, 83 from Superman, 52 from Jurassic World, 77 from How to Train Your Dragon, 88 from Thunderbolts, and then 83
88
from
from
F1.
Thunderbolts.
Oh, people love it. And I got actually
I
attacked
mean,
the other
I'm
day because I
personally I
arguing
enjoy
against it.
it. I have not rewatched it since it came on Disney Plus, even though I want to, but 88 is I don't know about that.
I had to promise a friend of mine that I wouldn't rewatch it within the next year. Thunderbolts
That's
because
very
I
funny.
hate I'm really anti Thunderbolts and I am not changed. I will say the only thing that I've softened up on is the mid credit scene with the Wheaties box is kind of funny at first.
I don't
Uh,
even remember that honestly.
I still have but yeah, I'm at 463 at the moment. So yeah,
Oh,
even
damn.
if you get your last two, make
Yeah,
a
Wicked could literally be
100%.
like the highest grossing movie and still.
Yeah, but not only that though, but I also still have Zootopia 2 and Tron Ares on the way. So I'm less so
All
fighting
right,
against
I'm
you for
saying
this
right
year.
here, boycott Tron Ares. We all hate Jared Leto.
I agree. Yeah, I mean I don't hate Jared Leto, but
I've
I would like everyone to boycott it.
I've never actually
Um,
seen any of the Tron movies, so
Right now, I'm chasing your ghosts of the past at this point because if
that's
since this
true.
year is basically done, I'm trying to see because the highest total ever is you had 618 for the 2023 draft. You only had two things not qualify. You did amazing
Yeah,
that year. Your second highest total was from the following year, which was 570. So if I'm currently sitting at 463 then I need both of those to hit, and then I have a chance
I
at,
think your odds are pretty good, honestly.
yeah, but and I'm still lifetime behind because you've won 2 years and I've won 1 year now. So there's still work to be done. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
since the introduction to me to this game, I have not lost until now.
Oh yeah, it still hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? We still got a few months left. Anything could
Anything could
happen.
happen. You never know. Wicked
But
could just get an early ass release and everyone loves it and goes and sees it a bunch of times.
well, that's the thing because it doesn't even matter if it like let's say like both Avatar and Wicked made 2 billion. It's the Rotten Tomato score, so like they would have to change the Rotten Tomato rules, and
Yeah.
like we love Wicked so much it's 163%.
We're giving it 200.
But yeah, so yeah, but that's fun. That's going really well right now. And then but yeah, so anything else about Fantastic Four before we move on to some of these other ones?
I don't think so. In fact, I think we can just, because there is a shared actor to this next one, we can just jump right into the Naked Gun movie that came out this year. Technically the fourth of the franchise, but really it's like a reboot, rebirth of the franchise, really, because it's
Prequel.
still, well, see, yes, it's still recognizing Leslie Nielsen. And I honestly, I've only seen clips of those up until the day of seeing that movie. I binged all three movies before going to the theater, and I had a blast watching those movies. Like personally, I've seen Airplane several times. Love that movie to pieces. Leslie Nielsen, he's always been the old guy in these random comedies like the Scary Movie. I think he was in Scary Movie 3 and 4. He was funny in those movies, even though those movies aren't that funny themselves. And
Hmm.
he's always been a hilarious character. And just that the fact that Liam Neeson replaced Leslie Nielsen, they even did a joke outside of the movie. I just found that hilarious. But
Hmm.
this movie is, I still to this day, I think I can say that it is the funniest movie of the year to me. I was cackling. I was in a packed theater. The whole theater was laughing constantly. This movie just takes random directions that you wouldn't expect unless you're a big fan of the Naked Gun movies. But this, similar to another movie I'll talk about later, is like the perfect kind of like requel sequel movie that comes out 30 plus years later and actually still captures that same feeling and does a pretty damn good job at it. Big props to Akiva from The Lonely Island. Been a big
Hmm.
Lonely Island guy for a long time, and seeing him direct it was pretty dope too.
I think we're in harmony in this one. I also found myself adoring this, like loving this movie, like peak comedy. I have a hard time agreeing with the sentiment that it's the funniest movie of the year, just because I think I have friendship above this movie. But this movie is nonstop jokes. It's peppering him. There's jokes that are being said like in the foreground. There's
Yeah,
bad jokes that are happening in the background. They're lampooning like everything about the this type of genre and Liam Neeson's awesome. And I went back and watched the original three. I really like those as well. And while I give this one a higher rating than those other ones, I think that's more so because the references in this one were
yeah,
for me. You know what I
exactly.
mean?
It's
Like
much more
whereas the
for the
old ones,
modern
I don't get
audience.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah, like there's a Black Eyed Peas joke, there's a Chicago joke, and like
yeah.
those like both hit me really personally. I think this movie's hilarious. I think the snowman bit might be the funniest individual bit of the year.
Dude, when I saw that, it made me laugh so hard, and I was like, "This feels like a fucking Family Guy bit." And then when I saw the credits that Seth MacFarlane was an executive producer, I was like, "Of course he fucking was." Just because like there were certain moments like that that just felt so iconic, but also just so random. And it was the fact that yeah, like you were saying, it was just constant jokes that thrown at you in the background wherever.
Hmm.
And the fact that the chemistry between Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson, not anything expected whatsoever, but even she was like cracking me up with the different shit she was hitting. And I was just really shocked by all the different things. And I mean, personally, I don't think it's really a spoiler, but my favorite cameo throughout this whole fucking movie was Dave Bautista coming in. That cracked me up
Yeah.
so fucking hard.
Hmm. I agree with the sentiment about Pamela Anderson. I like their chemistry together. I'm actually pretty big Pamela Anderson fan these days because I was very high on The Last Showgirl from last year.
Me
Did you
too.
catch that one?
I did. I saw it in
Yeah.
theaters, loved it.
I still like the song from it from Miley Cyrus. But yeah. She's awesome. Like the scatting scene that she does in this movie is so
Yeah.
funny. I like I subscribe to the fake orchestrated like romance had between Pamela and Liam Neeson. I thought that was adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything about. I think also a guy I want to shout out is I believe his name is Danny Houston, who plays the bad guy of the film. Most people I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
recognize him from as Stryker from X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's very funny in this movie as well. It's one I'm gonna rewatch many times.
I
It's
can't
definitely gonna be
wait.
in my top
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, since I've left the theater, that's another one too. That's like, I can't wait to show this to my dad and a bunch of other people who I think are gonna absolutely love this movie. It's just one of those movies that just like you want to show it to more people just to be like, see how fucking ridiculous this is.
Mm. I do know people who don't really like this movie very much, and they think that the comedy is lame
Because
and
they
that it's
hate
too
fun.
silly. Yeah, I think it, and that is nice though that like for this movie, it really is just a litmus test of like whether or not you subscribe to this kind of comedy and how
Yeah.
accepting you are of this type of. Because like I know people who are like, oh yeah, it's one of the best comedies I've ever seen. It's it's a perfect comedy movie. Four out of five with a heart, and I'm like. Okay, well, if it's a perfect, movie, why are
People
we not
annoy
giving it
me
a five?
so much. It's the same thing with horror. People are so crazy about both comedy and horror all the time. It's like, if it's not exactly my sense of style, humor, everything like that, it's like, even though I say it's perfect, I cannot give it the perfect rating. And it's like, I don't know who you're trying to impress with this, but it's not doing anybody but yourself.
I totally agree with what you're saying because like it's like they're putting a ceiling on this type of movie,
Yeah.
which I just think is
They think they're
ridiculous.
an Oscar voter already when you have nothing to do with it, buddy.
Well, Friendship, I think is also one of the funniest movies of the year, but I think that that accomplishes more than the Naked Gun movie does. You know what I mean? Because I
I
do really subscribe to like the relationship that's happening there and what they're trying to say about male friendships. Whereas I
Yes.
don't really think
I
Naked Gun
think
is trying to say much about anything.
yes, I think Naked Gun purely is just trying to say something about sequels and just trying to capture that same fun tone that everyone loved of Naked Gun, where Friendship is very much trying to be a unique comedy that you haven't really experienced that much before. And it's very much like if you're not a fan of Tim Robinson, I don't know how much you'll love Friendship as much, but I feel like Naked Gun is something I could show like the dad test, basically. This is something I could show my dad. Friendship.
The
I
dad
feel like I'd have
test.
to explain almost every joke to him for him to totally understand it because it's so. My dad does not like dry humor as much.
Hmm.
He likes the fart jokes and like everyone very much just blatantly being silly, and that's very much what Naked Gun is.
Hmm. I'll
'Cause
make the
that's where
toilet
like
beg for the brown. That was one of my
yeah.
favorite jokes in the movie.
So much just goofy stuff that like is especially if that's your style, you're gonna love it. But yeah, that's honestly this year, that's actually the perfect two to pick from. Like if you're more drier, I wouldn't even say serious, but more like I don't know, less silly comedy, poop jokes, Family Guy humor. That's more Top Gun, where more sophisticated thinking you're even I would say even people that think their sense of humor is better than everyone else's probably would like Friendship more. Not saying that about
Hmm.
you.
Hmm. No, I love both of these movies so
Yeah,
much.
exactly. That's what I'm saying too. It's like I adore both. I think I gave Friendship maybe a 4.5 out of 5. I don't think I gave it the full 5, where Top Gun I did, or Top Gun, Naked Gun.
Mm. I think at the time of our last recording, Friendship was my favorite movie of the year. There is a movie that's come out since that has taken my top spot. But Friendship, like I've rewatched that twice now since it came on HBO Max, so three times total on
I
the
want
year.
to. I have fucking
Oh,
HBO
and I'll
Max with
be
ads.
watching it
That's the only reason
again
I
for
don't want to watch
sure.
it.
Yeah, I was like anticipating it coming on HBO Max. That's how much I wanted to rewatch it. But yeah, great year for comedies. I love this movie. It's going to be in my top 10 list. I love everything about it. I have no complaints whatsoever. It made me go back and rewatch some of Akiva Schaffer's
Yeah,
filmography. I tried the watch just to give it a second chance. Nope, still no for me.
I like it.
Pop Star, I got bumped up a star since
Popstar
I.
is Popstar is one that I try to show people so often because I'm like, no one saw it in theaters, but it is so underrated as a comedy.
Oh yeah, Sick Glenda has been on my top my one of my top songs on Spotify recently.
The
Um,
Osama bin Laden one, it plays on my YouTube all the time.
that and Mona Lisa, like where
Yeah,
they're talking about the Mona Lisa sucks. I love that one as well. But yeah, no, great, 5 out of 5. That's all I have about Naked Gun.
same, 5 out of 5. Same, another movie I saw that same night. I'll get it out of the way pretty quick. It's called House of Eden. Not
Mhm.
that great. There's a YouTuber, TikToker girl named Call Me Chris, I believe. She does like she started just doing like silly TikTok skits, and now she does like true crime videos and also does like some of the ghost hunting videos. And
Mhm.
then she kind of like paralleled the ghost hunting videos into a movie, and it's like a an actual like found footage horror movie. And I mean, it's slow burning. It's very much you can tell inspired by the Blair Witch Project, and if you're a fan of that, I think you could probably get some stuff out of this. It's on Shudder now, so you could watch it for free if you have the subscription, but it's nothing overly great. It's fine for what it is. I gave it 2 out of 5. I wanted to give it more, but it just wasn't for me as much. It's kind of just retreading a lot of old territory, and then she admitted that herself, which I respect, but yeah, it was
Mhm.
fine.
I saw the trailer. I think it reminded me of like Paranormal Activity. And I
Yeah.
was really into those when I was younger.
I still really enjoy those movies for what they are, but they're silly.
I can't imagine rewatching one of them just because like I just feel so bamboozled. Like I remember as a teen watching those movies and being like, there's something bigger going on. Like they're telling a largest story here and we're gonna find out what's happening and what's behind all this.
You ever
And
watched the
just to
documentary that
know,
they made about like the behind the scenes?
oh no, I did. So
It's actually
please
pretty
actually
fun.
tell me about this. What is it?
I'd have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's on like Paramount Plus, which I have on Amazon, but
That's the home
yeah,
of Next of Kin, Paranormal Activity, what, 6 or 7?
I don't think I ever actually watched that one still. But yeah, I
Bad.
think around the same exact time they released this documentary on there and I watched it and it's pretty cool. It literally is like the whatever the guy's name is, I forget what his name is, the guy who created it, but it's very much
Hmm.
like him talking about it and there's like literal like home footage of him because he filmed it all in his own like rental house. I think he actually rented out a house to be able to film it and it was only like him with a camera basically filming those two actors.
That's so awesome. Yeah, it's just like peak indie spirit. And that was like a moment in time. That was one of the most iconic, influential horror films
That's
of all
It's
time.
quite literally the only reason that Blumhouse Productions really exists. Jason Blum like found the guy and like the guy had already shot it and he like showed it to him and he's like, we're about to get this everywhere, basically.
Mm. Yeah, but yeah, Paranormal Activity. I'd watched the documentary before I watched another Paranormal Activity movie. And I don't watch documentaries very often.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it on here.
Mm.
But yeah, I'll look for it. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about that one. It's fine. If it's something you're into, by all means, check it out. But even she had kind of admitted that it's not overly great. But moving on from that one to something that I know you don't think is overly great, but I might have enjoyed it a bit more. Another sequel, Happy Gilmore 2. You give yours first.
Oh boy. Okay, I'll pour some cold water first. I think this is one of the most embarrassing, worst movies I've maybe ever seen in my life. Did I give it a 0? I wonder if I did. I know 1 star. I did give it 1 star. I wonder what compelled me to give it a star. So I know a good movie to me is one where a bunch of celebrities just randomly show up at different times, and then I get to point at the screen and go, I know them. That's Travis Kelce. That's Bad Bunny.
Hot take,
That's Eminem.
hot take, did not bother me that much. That's
I,
about the only
I,
thing that kind of bothered me a little bit, but I honestly think overall, I didn't hate the story that they went with. I thought it was a fine movie. I don't think it was like a five-star movie by any means, but for a sequel
hmm.
to a movie that didn't really need a sequel, it could have been so much worse.
Yeah, I did get a lot of flack. I think you and a couple other people like gave me a hard time for being so
I
mean
was
to
just
Happy
playing.
Gilmore.
I'm not going to give you a
No,
hard
I
time
know,
about
I
it,
know,
but
no, I know it's all in good fun. It's funny to me because I went back and rewatched Happy Gilmore in anticipation for this one, which I'm already not a huge Happy Gilmore fan, but I will like.
yeah.
I'm not a big Adam Sandler guy either, but when I'm
And that's the
defending
thing
Adam
that I have
Sandler,
to give you the credit for because like I was born in the perfect time where Adam Sandler was just constantly hitting dingers out of the goddamn park, and
hmm.
I was just alive for the perfect moment for it. So I give you that credit where you're a little bit younger than me, and I don't think you got to see as much of his good style career when you were younger.
I mean, I still feel like it was present throughout my childhood. Like he was still big when I was a kid. But like I think he has 2 home runs and neither of them are comedies. It's Uncut Gems and what's it called? The Punch Drunk Love. And then I even think the Meyerowitz stories.
I know about it.
Um,
I've not seen that one. I've seen Punch Drunk Love like one time, so I can't even really speak to that one that much either.
Well, what I'm trying to say is I'm already not a big fan of his comedy movies, but when I
Yeah,
am defending his comedy movies, I'm like, okay, well, Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison and 50 First Dates are good. And I went back and rewatched Happy Gilmore and I was like, this isn't even very good. Like, there's some iconic bits in that movie, but
I
like,
love
I
Happy
found it
Gilmore.
more annoying than anything. I'm just not, I'm already not a
That's what I'm
fan.
saying. Especially when I grew up, I had cable TV where they literally played Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison on repeat all the time. And my dad was a huge Sandler fan, so we constantly just watched them so much that I think it's like it's ingrained to my personality almost to just everything Adam Sandler does for some reason just makes me laugh.
Hmm. I have a half-baked take on the movie. I did think there was a couple small little moments, and I want to see if this translates for you, where I think Happy Gilmore went woke. And like, my politics, I'm not like, oh, this movie sucks because it got woke. But I think this is like a weird movie to go woke. Because like there's like moments like specifically there's the scene in the original one where Julie Bowen's character is imagined as this like fantasy version of herself and she's like on the lawn chair in the
Are you
white
about to say
lingerie.
that he should have looked and pretended that another woman naked and fell in love with and shit? He loved Julie Bowen. That's the mother of his goddamn children, you son of a
I
bitch.
know I agree, but
And she's
like
a
they call
beautiful
him
woman.
out. They're like she like joins his thing and she's like, "Oh my God, how misogynistic is this?" And I think there's a scene even later on where like two of the side character guys are talking and they're like, "We don't talk about women like that anymore." And I'm like, of all the movies to pretend like they're like, left
Yeah,
leaning now.
I think that was more of them trying to make fun of people trying to say that kind of shit. Like Republicans being like,
Hmm.
everything's so woke now. We have to be like, everyone's like this now, and making fun of the fact that people even try to say that. That's how I
Okay,
read it
interesting.
anyway.
Okay, because I kind of took it the opposite. Like I thought that was them trying to like, reverse their steps and be like, no, okay, guys, we've changed, we've evolved too. And I don't know, I
Yeah.
just always felt like Adam Sandler's comedies are very right leaning. I mean, like specifically stuff like You Don't Mess with Zohan is maybe the most right leaning comedy I've ever seen in my life.
I watched that movie one time, and I think I remember Dave Matthews was in it, and that's all I got for it.
Yeah, yeah. I just remember being like, this is like the most offensive thing in the world. You're telling me this came out how many years after 9/11?
Yeah, I think it was
And
trying to make fun of the fact that people are people always say that Indian people and like European people are horny. Always.
it just feels very xenophobic when I watched it, but it's easy for me to say in the year like 2024. But like also like I don't know, like stuff like Little Nicky, that feels doesn't feel very right leaning. Like I don't feel like people on the right, usually very conservative, like
Oh
cat,
yeah.
Christian people would like to joke about the devil. So I don't know, just a thought. I just thought that that was a weird thing I noticed in the movie.
Yeah, I'd be
And
shocked if Sandman actually leans right at all.
I'm sure he does. Well, all the new, I've seen all these TikToks these days
I know Rob Schneider does because
praising.
everyone hates Rob Schneider and Kevin James.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. They're praising Adam Sandler for still standing by his good buddy Rob Schneider and giving like he shows up
I
in
think he
here
just
and he
feels
just
bad
says a
for
little
him.
joke. I'm sure he does, and I'm sure he doesn't believe in his politics and stuff. Well, and then also like just the his whole family's in the fucking movie. It just feels like it wasn't made to make a piece of art. And I'm not even the like pretentious like art guy. I just gave Naked Gun a 5 out of 5. Okay, but like Naked Gun didn't feel like a rich guy getting his friends and family together to earn a good paycheck for everyone to produce a piece of content for straight
But
to
at the
streaming.
same time, like if I was Adam Sandler and in Adam Sandler's position, I would love to be able to do that for people.
100% agree. 100% agree. That
That's
being
where I
said, I
can't
am not
criticize
Adam
him too
Sandler.
much.
I'm
Exactly.
I'm a
I
different
get it.
Adam, so I don't get to reap the benefits from any of this. I just had to sit through the almost 2 hour movie, which is also ridiculous,
Yeah,
and I
trust
just
me,
thought it
I'm
was
defending it, but
obnoxious.
I'm also defending it at a 3.5 out of 5. I'm not saying
Uh,
it's like the best movie of the year. I just happened to enjoy the afternoon I watched it with my brother.
and I was mean in my letterbox review, but I know it's fine if people like this. Clearly, people like this movie. What is it? Is it positively? Actually, it might not be positively rated on IMDb. 2.7, but the vast majority gave it 3 out of 5. So, yeah, how you really gonna be upset? But yeah, I think oh my God, you're like my only mutual who gave it. No, I got a couple other people but like 3.5 is the highest that this one goes for my mutuals.
My fucking brother gave it a 4.
Yeah, I just not I do not subscribe. I'm not a fan, unfortunately. But I lose. There's one less movie I get to enjoy.
Yeah, I don't blame you, but I just liked it. I don't know.
Hmm. And then
But
another
moving up,
movie I'm seeing that you saw that I saw that again you were higher on than me is Together. Now why don't you go ahead and talk about this first because I think you did see it first too.
yeah, I saw it on the same day as I saw that Pete Davidson one. Um, I actually watched that one with my other brother too, and I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I cannot speak to any of the legal controversy that was happening beforehand about these people like saying that the idea was stolen from them by
Oh, that's
Dave
BS.
Franco. I saw that it pretty much all fell through, and I was really irritated with the fact that someone would even try to do something like that. As someone who has never made any film per se, but knows a lot of creatives who are trying to always create stuff, and to know that someone's trying to fuck with your ideas like that, it's just, and for someone to fake that too, is just even more irritating because it makes anyone trying to fight for their project make them look bad, even though they're innocent in any of that. It was just so, it's very frustrating to see that kind of shit, but I'm happy that they were able to get through it and the movie was made because I thought it was pretty damn cool. I love a good like weird horror movie, and body horror especially really gets to me on a deep level and really disturbs me. And the effects that they were able to do in this movie were incredible. Like I actually watched a video with the director the other day where he was saying like a lot of the stuff that you might think was like digital effects and stuff was actually in camera, and it just took them a little bit more time because they didn't have the money to go in and do stuff digitally because it was really small budget. But that being said, I am very high on this movie.
Mhm. And one of the reasons I think the BS of the situation is just because like this is such a generic like idea. Like obviously someone's gonna come up with
Yeah,
this.
it's not
It's
saying
not.
a whole lot. Like bare bones, the idea is pretty out. I mean, it's out there in visual style, but the actual story itself, it's not rewriting the wheel here.
Yeah, I will say that part of my experience was like tempered because I had a bunch of talkers in my small theater, and I
That would
eventually like,
suck.
yeah, I went up and sat in like the very front row because I was in like a very small like auditorium 13 at the Regal, so
Oh
like I
yeah.
had to like sit in the front row at a certain point. I'm like really looking up and from the side too, and I mean I wasn't vibing because I'm not a big gore person, and I feel like a lot of the best stuff was shown in the marketing, and it's from the ending of the movie. Like the poster of the movie with the eyes combining,
That's
that's
the
the
good part
climax.
for me is I avoid all that shit like the plague anymore. I know you
Hmm.
can't as much because you literally work in the theater, but
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm like inundated with it, but like that was one thing that I really didn't care for the movie is I feel like it didn't pull any of its punches in the marketing, which I wish they did. So I was more surprised during the movie. And then I like the vibe of like what the movie's trying to say. Like when you're in a couple how eventually you kind of get used to the person and you take them for granted and it's not as exciting and the spark's not really there and then eventually you feel like you guys are just melded together like you guys are a singular entity
yeah.
and so I vibe with that I thought their performances were good. I think they're cute. I think like my review was kind of me doing a backhanded like everyone talking about how they're a couple and like that's why people are going and seeing this movie is because they like
They
them as a
are
couple.
one of the hottest couples I've ever seen.
Sure, and I would love to watch them have sex. You do for a second in this movie, and it's wonderful.
Yo, that bathroom
Um,
scene still gets to me, dude.
oh yeah, it's gross.
That was so gnarly.
I think it's better than what I'm trying to give it credit for, but like I just felt like it was very shallow with its messaging. Like it was very surface level, and it didn't really have anything else to say.
I can definitely agree with that. I just think a lot of it was just so damn creative on like a physical standpoint. But yeah, the story, like I think some of the twists, especially toward the end, I definitely didn't expect the neighbor reveal as much. I thought that was
Hmm.
pretty cool. And especially the whole tape reveal. I thought that was pretty cool, but we also had like a similar thing earlier this year with that. What was that movie called? The Filippo brothers or whatever.
Oh, bring her back.
Yeah, Bring Her Back. They kind of did the tape thing in that one too. So like I can see a lot of people being like, "Oh, they borrowed that from that," even though like no way that happened because these films are filmed so far out of advance. But
Hmm.
seeing that kind of worked in, I mean, I personally really liked it, but I can see people making those comparisons a lot. But overall, I had a really, really fun time with this one. And yeah, I can't really like, I would definitely say it's not the most like original movie of the year, but it's just so damn impactful with its body horror visuals to me. I'm still thinking about it to this day.
Yeah, I mean, I give it a 3 out of 5. It's all right, but I'm not like thinking about it or crazy about it in any kind of way, and then like or like looking forward to what they're gonna do next. Like I think it's cute, and the gore is effective.
Yeah, I hope they don't ever touch this idea again. I hope no one tries to retread it or try to do anything like that. But I would be interesting to see those two do more horror stuff, just because especially like Allison Brie is so much more known and Dave Franco for comedy, but I feel like they both did pretty damn well in this dramatic horror movie.
And it's good to see them again. I feel like we don't get a lot of them on the big screen these days, so it's nice to see
Yeah.
them.
Well,
I feel
especially
like, yeah,
with
the more I
Dave,
talk
I think
about
he
it with
got
you,
so
the
eclipsed
nicer
by
I
his
am to
brother.
it. Oh yeah, because he got canceled, so he's like canceled by proxy.
It almost
Um,
seemed that way for a bit.
but yeah, I'm happy you really liked it though. And you had a couple other smaller ones that in this range.
Yes, same day I saw The Home with Pete Davidson. It was a Blumhouse release. Not similar to this, not like the most original idea. He's like a troubled 20s, 30-year-old guy who's basically told by like his dad, like, you have to work at this nursing home to get money. I'm not gonna fucking help you out anymore. And he like helps him get this job there. But then he figures out that weird shit's going on in the nursing home, and it's very similar to like a Rosemary's Baby or like a that same kind of idea anyway, or like someone there's obviously some weird shit going on, but he's the only one that notices, and then some people inside are kind of giving him ideas, but it turns into some pretty crazy shit towards the end, and it doesn't end in the most like lightest of ways, but I had a good time with it. I gave it a 3.5. I'd be probably closer to a three because it's like I said, it's not like overly great, but if you're a fan of Pete Davidson, which I don't know how many people really are these days, I personally still
I
am,
am.
but
I was interested in it. Like I'll probably catch it on streaming, but I didn't
that's
hear
a
good
perfect
things
kind of
about it.
thing. Yeah, it's like I said, it's not bad, but it's not anything to run out to the theater. Like I think a perfect, like you're saying, streaming, a good like afternoon movie because it's not even really that like scary wise. It's mostly being like, oh, a bunch of these old people are acting pretty crazy, huh? But then like some old people are acting crazy for different reasons, but it's a fine enough movie. It's not overly great, but it's just okay.
And then you had a couple other ones.
I mean, I watched a documentary called Amy Bradley's Missing. Pretty interesting documentary. Nothing too great about it. It's one of those like kind of like true crime documentary. And then
Okay.
Dusty Slay, funny comedian on Netflix, new special on there. Gave it a 3.5, pretty
Oh
good.
yeah, he's got a very distinct look.
Oh yeah, he's very like a good old Southern boy. Like honestly, with these fucking glasses, I didn't even think about it. These are very much his kind of glasses. If I was
Getting the
wearing like
long
a,
hair, just put a
if
little
I'll say if
trucker
I
hat on.
had my trucker hat, which I got one around here somewhere, but I could definitely play that character pretty easily. But one
Hmm.
more to jump on real quick before I jump into one that I know we've both seen. Strange Harvest. It's made by the same director. He's only made like one other movie, and it was like, or maybe two other movies. I think they were like a first one and then the sequel. Oh my gosh, they were found footage movies. It's
Yeah,
supposed
I
to be like
got
a
you.
ghost
Stuart
hunting movie.
Ortiz did a
Yeah.
movie called Grave Encounters.
Grave
That was
Encounters. Yeah, I don't, did he even do the sequel or was it just the first one?
he wrote the sequel. He did not direct it, but he directed the
Okay.
first one.
So yeah, this is his second movie, and Grave Encounters came out in like the early 2000s, so he has not made a movie in a long time, but this one was actually pretty interesting. Like Grave Encounters is very much playing on the Ghost Adventures TV shows of all of the ghost hunting goofiness, but then in that movie it's ghosts are real and they're fucking them up. This movie is very much played even more in reality, where a lot of it is like found footage, but not in the same way. There's some of it's from like security cameras and stuff because it's following around this serial killer named Mr. Shiny. And it's like a whole thing of like it's supposed to be like a true crime horror, the documentary type of thing, but it's actually a horror movie. But it's all
Hmm.
fake, but it's actually played and edited pretty cool and felt like it actually could be a real story, but it's so dark and they show you like more than like those true crime documentaries where they straight up show you the people like getting fucked up and murdered and stuff. But
I threw
overall,
it
I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I recommend it especially just because of the unique style of it. I'd be interested to see what you think about it.
I just threw on my watch list. My editor also really likes it too, so that makes me more interested as well.
It wasn't a big release either. I think it was like from Saban or something. It was one of those small releases again, but
Hmm.
definitely one to check out whenever it goes on streaming stuff. But
Hmm.
to stay in order, the big release of the summer that ended up being the bigger release that no one really thought it was going to be, Zach Kreger's new hit, Weapons. Now, what are your big thoughts on that one? Because I knew you probably have similar ones.
Um, every year when I watch a movie, I'm almost at 100 2025 releases on the year. But like every year, when I'm going through the movies of the year, there's a moment where I watch a movie and I get this like, the goosebumps, my hair sticking out on its ends, I'm crying. It's like this, it's like really like a religious experience for me when I feel like I found my favorite movie of the year. And boy, did I feel that with Weapons. I think that this is one of the great American movies. I was so illuminated by it. I thought it was a well of themes and a great representation, a conversation starter about a lot of things that are going on in our country these days. I think it has the best hook of the year, like the whole hook of like, one night at 217, a bunch of kids ran out the front door and that was it. You know what I mean? Like, why they go? Like it inherently inspires so much like curiosity and questions and intrigue to the movie. And then I think it has two movie magic moments. I'll talk about that a little bit later. And I just think that everything works. I love the entire cast so much. I think it exceeds as like I know a lot of people complain it's not the scariest movie, but I think it's terrifying, and I think the limited uses of horror make it more effective. I think it's a hilarious movie. Like I said, I think it has a bunch to say. I think it's incredibly depressing of a movie. I love how
Yeah.
ambitious it is compared to his last movie. I'm head over heels. How did you feel?
Oh, I can echo just about everything you're saying, dude. I'm a huge Zach Cregger guy. We used to watch Whitest Kids You Know as a teenager. Loved all that goofy comedy. And I mean, he translated it a little bit over into Barbarian. There's some funny moments, but this one is so much more darker and it very much just keeps you in that world where there's funny moments in it of some comedic relief, but overall, like all of these people just going through the despair of losing their children and everything. It's so heavy. And then a lot of the horror moments, they might not be like outright like slasher moments, but it's so atmospheric and it has that sense of dread over the movie constantly, even when there's not like visibly something happening right in front of your face. But I mean, even like the moments like my favorite horror moment I think still of the year almost is because it physically just had the whole theater you could just tell was so uncomfortable when they're out when the teacher is outside doing like the stakeout of the house and then you see the old lady just shortly walking behind and getting into the back seat. It's just like
Mhm.
you're on the edge of your seat the whole time just thinking like, oh, she's about to fucking fuck her up, blah blah blah. And
Well,
it's
I
just
think that's the mom.
yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, that whole moment was just like, holy shit. It just gets under your skin because like you can't do anything about it because you're just a bystander basically, but it puts you in the passenger seat practically and it's just such masterful moment. And there's so many moments like this in that movie that yeah, I cannot wait to check it out again, show it to more people because like I cannot stop thinking about just the insane visuals, let alone the different ideas that this movie kind of gets in your brain. And like you said, it talks so much about current events and things that it's a very relevant movie, but it also, similar to like Eddington in a way, it's a time capsule, but it also can transfer time, I think, too, with just like a lot of the themes that are universal that probably aren't going anywhere too.
Mm. You mentioned visuals. I think my favorite shot of the year is from that opening sequence when we're seeing all the kids running out of the houses and they're playing George Harrison's "Beware of Darkness," which has been one of my most like played songs of the past month now. I'm obsessed with it because it perfectly encapsulates what the movie, like the vibe and tone and what the movie's trying to say. And
Yeah.
just the shot of the kid running in slow motion across the street, and he's like, it's almost like his silhouette. I think it's like hauntingly beautiful, like this. Which is beautiful because this is an inherently silly moment that's happening. You know,
Yeah,
we're
literally
watching a
doing like a
bunch of kids
Naruto run.
Naruto run, and this horror comedy movie, and I'm feeling this like, moment of not what's the word I'm looking for? I'm feeling this moment of like, um, I don't know, like euphoria watching it. Like it's so beautiful, it's gorgeous. And then so that's my first movie magic moment. And then the climax, you know what I mean? When they break the thing and the thing happens, that such a amazing theater experience. Because this whole movie, and maybe people are laughing here and there at the movie, but it's not like an outright comedy. But
Oh
like
yeah.
that moment just an eruption from the audience. And it's just every time they break a window is so fucking funny. And,
Yeah.
and just the way the movie ends on this really cold, like chilling note. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. Like I had to, luckily I'm at the theater all the time. I had to go and like watch the ending again during a shift, because I was like I was not expecting that quote to be the last quote of the movie, and the because it's the last quote of the movie, that makes it, we view it in a little bit of a different light and try to, decipher what his intention was and what they're trying to say with having that be the last quote. But yeah, what do you? All right, I want to ask you a big question here. This is a fun question. How do you feel about the gun?
You know, when it first happened, it looks the visually very out of place.
Mm.
I'm very like, and I know Zach Kreger has even said too. He's like, I'm not going to explain it. There's no explanation. He's like said that in an interview too. It was very funny. He's like, if you
Mm.
get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And I was just like, I respect the hell out of that. I don't know if I fully still understand why it's there, but I, if it definitely has an effect just because you're not expecting it.
Mm.
And yeah, it's weird, but I respect it.
I think it's a bit on the nose. So I
Yeah.
didn't need it, but I think that it's fine if people needed that to understand what the movie's trying to say. Because to me, the movie is about how people and the media and politicians just like to weaponize children who are the most innocent
Yeah.
members of our society. And like a lot of the major hot topic, like political issues, like, oh, gun violence is a big problem these days. Well, people love to talk about kids and school shootings. How many kids need to die? But, we're using kids to try to, as a means to try to get what we want politically out of
To
guns.
just to literally just
Abortions.
enact policy. You have to fucking use the darkest fucking things to do so just to get the fucking people's eyes open to even start the fucking conversation. It's insane.
Oh yeah, and then like I said, abortions, gay people, like trans people, like what we're teaching
Hmm.
in the classrooms, like all of what we're putting in our kids' food. Which on my rewatch, I noticed when they at the beginning of the movie when they hand Alex, the main child of the film, the detectives hand him a Coke. And later on in the movie, they mention Coke. Like we know that like Coke is in this, you know what I mean? But like when they hand it to him, it's like in focus the back label of the Coca-Cola like can. Like, oh, how many calories and what's in it and whatnot. And immediately I thought of RFK Jr. and how, these, and obviously this has all happened recently. So, I don't know if Kreger is, deliberately doing these things or if I'm adding
I
my own
wouldn't be
politics to
shocked though,
it.
just because like he's very, I think, on top of shit like that. He seems like
Yeah.
the kind of guy anyway.
Well, like, what are we giving to our kids? What are we exposing them to? A lot of the questions are asked directly in the movie is what were you teaching in that classroom? What was going on inside that classroom? And how parents these days, they love to use teachers as their scapegoats. These
Yeah.
people who they're making their profession is to try to educate the most important people in our society. It's a very virtuous job for them to do where so much could go wrong. It's such a sensitive thing. And we love to if they're getting my kid's getting bad grades, can't possibly mean my kid. It's your fault. You're
Yeah.
teaching them wrong. What are you doing, my kids? Are you exposing them to gay? Are you exposing them to sex education? Are you exposing them to history, just in general? And someone like my sister's a teacher, so I thought about her the entire movie.
The
And
teacher in
then
Florida?
what?
Is
Oh
she a
yeah,
teacher
she's a
in
teacher in
Florida?
Florida. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Also, and it's mostly Hispanic students. So she's really worried about like stuff like ICE and what she would
Yeah,
do in those
that's
situations. And like for
that's
example, I asked
horrible
her
to
because
even have to
I'm big
think
on
about.
K-pop Demon Hunters. I was like, you're coming back to school here pretty soon. I want you to like tell me if your kids are into K-pop Demon Hunters, if they're singing the songs, like what their relationship with that movie is. And she was like, well, it's going to be difficult because, a lot of parents won't let them, watch it because it has demon in the title and they can't like look it up at school because they can't look up demons at school.
Especially Hispanic kids too. Like demons are like a no-go. Even the
Mhm.
word demon is just like fuck that.
Exactly. I also feel like the movie was trying to talk about like the police and how, their job is to seek out justice, but sometimes they're more so getting in the way of justice.
Yeah.
And obviously the turning off the body cam footage and whatnot.
Definitely a lot about definitely a lot about corrupt policy and corrupt policing.
Oh yeah, and then also I feel like it had something to say about ageism, how like the old people of our society are literally trying to feed off of the younger people in our society and blame the younger people in our society for things that are going on.
That they're
Obviously
direct
there's
causes
the
of, yeah.
yeah, there's obviously the parasite that she's teaching about parasites. We're watching videos of parasites like throughout the movie, and so obviously the bad guy of the movie is acting as a parasite. But kids are also a parasite. They feed off of you. They live off of you. You have to support them for 18 years. And just that core fear of like it reminds me of the Bob Dylan song. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Like how scary of a concept that is that I could put someone in this world and my entire job is to take care of them and make sure that they're safe and grow up to be a good person. And how inevitable it is that outside factors will come into play on that and influence them and that you can't keep them safe. Like my favorite scenes is when Archer goes into the police station and the chief of police or whatever is like those kids walked out on their own accord, like how are you going to blame what do you think the teacher did?
Yeah.
And so like that idea that you can't control your children and that's your only responsibility in this world is to take care of and control your children and learning that you have such a loose grip on those reins is a terrifying feel. Clear, I'm just illuminated by this. All of this was came flooding out after I saw the movie, and I had a buddy who was like, "I don't think it was trying to say anything." And this is like a smart guy who like usually like finds themes. He's like, "No, I just thought it was well written and a good little fun movie."
Yeah, no, there is so much going on in this one that like you're even illuminating a couple different things to me that I didn't even think about. But now
Hmm.
with all of that being said, I cannot wait to rewatch it again and get even more context of what you even just told me. So yeah, I cannot
Oh
wait to
yeah, go
rewatch
on
it
a
again.
rewatch. I cried multiple times on my rewatch. I showed my family, which it was a little too horror-y for them, but I loved it on a rewatch. One thing on a rewatch that have this is kind of a departure, but I think it's valuable to mention. So Superman, I rewatched that recently, and there's a line delivery that is I think the funniest bit in the movie now. With context, because when I watched it the first time, I didn't laugh. No one laughed. You know, it's not really funny. But it's when they're in the war room with like Planet Watch, and Lex Luthor is like giving him his their spiel about like, oh yeah, we can't trust Superman. We got to do something about him. Oh my God, blah 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 blah. Blah. And then the one guy is like, well, I don't know. We can't really do anything against Superman because he's so popular right now. And Lex Luthor retorts like kind of paranoidly. He's like, not according to the chatter on social media these days. Which we know because of the monkeys now that like he's the one that's perpetuating
He's
that
on social media,
conversation. So it's just such a funny little bit upon rewatch. Oh yeah, which thank you. I would like to thoroughly say thank you to you because the day I found that you got Superman on your Voodoo, I was so fucking hyped.
dude. I had like a $3 credit on Amazon Prime that I could buy it on there for like $17 versus $20, and I was like, reason enough.
Yeah, I rewatched it immediately, and I'm so happy. I still love that movie. But yeah, back to weapons. Yeah, this movie. I love how every single story ends in the most like, what the fuck is going on, like kind of way. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that is the best part of it too, is the actors react like someone would in that situation. Like Josh Brolin being like, "What the
What the
fuck?
fuck?
What the fuck?" Like
Which,
that
by the
that all
way,
that
his
kind of shit.
son. I know his son's a bully, but his son is based because he has, I think, the exact same Mad Max Fury Road poster that I have.
Yeah.
In my apartment, which I think is hilarious. Um, but yeah, I think that weapons. Oh, obviously, it's about school shootings too. I love how we like have
Oh
this
yeah.
whole conversation about the themes,
Oh
and we're
yeah.
like, oh yeah, it's also about school. Obviously, it's about. We knew that from the trailer that it was about school shootings.
Yeah. That was definitely the most obvious theme I think that we got from the title alone too. The
Hmm.
title and the children. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
but it's my favorite
I
of the year.
I'm
I
about to
don't
say
know.
I can't really say too much more. I think you got us covered, but if you haven't seen it yet, watch it as soon as you can because it is just amazing. Zach Kreger, fantastic job.
Oh, sorry. One more thought, because I was talking about parasites. I think it's
Yeah.
very illuminating that the reason we find where the kids are is because of a homeless person who a lot of people. There was a guy on Fox News the other day who just said that they should like kill homeless people.
Yeah. Brian Kilmeade,
You know,
fucking bitch ass.
yeah, exactly. And so like the homeless people are parasites to our society. I mean, he literally is walking around trying to unlock every door, selling
Yeah.
off anything
Literally
he could
breaking into
possibly.
people's houses, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that he finds the little girl's toy and goes to sell that when it's clear that no one wants it, that's like that's pretty evil.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I also thought that that was an element of the like every person. I think there was a deliberate like a school teacher, a father, a
Yeah.
homeless guy. I
The
don't think
gay
it's a
couple.
coincidence that the principal is gay. That's
Yeah.
not a coincidence. Also, there's a lot of conversation about how the villain of this movie is very queer coded, and some people like that. Some people think that that's bad. I don't have much of an opinion on that either way, but I do
Hmm.
know that that's a topic of discussion.
Interesting. I did not catch on to that, but
But yeah, I've 5 out of 5. I love this movie with all my heart, and I can't wait to buy it on Blu-ray.
samesies.
Hmm. And then okay, well let's see.
We can talk
Let-
Freakier Friday. I mean, I gave it 4 out of 5, but I
Oh, you
watched it with my
did? Oh my
niece.
gosh.
I watched it with my niece, and my niece and I really enjoyed the first one, and she absolutely loved this one, so I just had to give it the 4 out of 5 for her. But I
Wow.
also just really enjoyed the movie too.
I was having a really bad day when I watched it, and I really did not care for it. But I'm also not like a little girl, so that's probably why. I also didn't grow up.
Hey,
I mean, I
I will say, sorry to interrupt you, but like I 100% grew up with this movie. Like I
Mhm.
had it on DVD and watched it probably more often than most little boys watch this movie, but I had a
Mhm.
big emotional attachment to it, I think too. So that brings it up with the points wise for me. I'm a big
Well, I was
softie.
very aware. Like I saw the trailer, them screaming in each other's face. Like I'm well aware of that. But I didn't watch it for the first time until like a couple years ago. And I will say my nicest thing I have to say about this movie is also the meanest thing I have to say about this movie is Jamie Lee Curtis is way too attractive in this movie.
She is
It is
so hot. I
insane.
mean,
She's
I
so
can't
hot.
even lie. Even in the last few Halloween movies and stuff, I'm like, she is an over, even in like the last Showgirl and stuff too, I was like, she's an overly attractive old woman.
Oh yeah, and especially the like interviews and stuff that the promotional marketing for this movie.
She's
She's
just
wearing that
having
like
so
gray
much fun and being
dress.
so horny. Yeah.
Oh God, she is amazing. Oh, I went fucking nuts watching this movie because I knew that weekend I was working on an project for Walgreens. And like we do projects on ads sometimes. So like we'll do an
Okay.
entering quota, people haven't seen the ad, and exiting quota, be like, oh, what ads you see before the movie today? When you think of cell phone providers, what's the first one that comes to mind? Okay, did you see anything about a cell phone provider? Did you see an ad for AT&T? Did you see something that looked like this? Do you like AT&T? Stuff like that. So we were doing that, but for Walgreens. And I knew that going into this movie. And there's a scene in this movie where the characters go to Walgreens and they point out how convenient it is to find all the stuff at Walgreens.
I
And
did not know that. I did not even
it drove me
remember that.
crazy. Now that's not what the project I'm working on is about, but
That's
there is an
funny though.
ad where like they show off the movie and they show Walgreens,
It's like
and
I
I
know
just
about Walgreens way too fucking much now.
yeah, well, it's just like seeing how the sausage is made. It's a very cynical moment, like, oh, this is a Walgreens ad in the middle of this movie where she's like picking up every old person's
Dude, don't
healthcare
even get me
products
started
or
on that. We
whatever.
can go jump right into War of the Worlds because holy fuck.
I gladly, because I did not like this movie. 2 out of 5. I thought it was annoying. It's way too long. It's more of the same, and it's just worse, and it's spread out
It's
way too
probably more of a
much.
3.5 to me, but I still really enjoyed it. Lindsay Lohan was way better than this than she was in like that fucking Netflix movie.
I will say, I agree, and I would probably also enjoy this more if, like you, I had watched it with like a niece who like
Yeah,
this movie is
exactly.
more made for,
I I fell in love with it as a kid. Didn't really watch it for many years. I bought it for my parents' cabin up north where we take the kids all the time. Niece found it
Mhm.
there. She fell in love with it. So I mean, this coming out this year just kind of worked out perfectly for that. But yeah, if I didn't have that same attachment to it, it's a very basic retreading of the same movie with a fun legacy cast of people that like me being a fan watching it that many years ago and seeing that even Mark Harmon, the fucking stepdad, came back. I was shocked to see everybody come back, but it
Mhm.
was cool. But
Mhm.
yeah, we can jump into that other one if you want now.
All right, I love this because now I'm usually the bad guy when we're talking about movies. I get to be the good guy in this one, but I think by being the good guy, I am the bad guy here. But I really enjoyed War of the Worlds in like a it's so bad that it's good kind of way. So that's why I gave it a 3 out of 5. Ice Cube's
Okay,
performance is amazing,
makes more
Lee
sense.
terrible. You know what I mean? Like it's awful.
Yeah,
The
dude.
amount of Amazon Prime stuff in this movie is hilarious.
I agree with you in every way, but at the same time, like as a movie, it makes me so mad that like someone like the producers of this movie should be absolutely ashamed of themselves and never
Oh
produce
yeah.
another project ever again. I don't
Mhm.
blame anyone that actually worked on it other than like Ice Cube wasn't even fucking like he got paid to basically sit like we are right now on a fucking Zoom call probably with a director and just fucking like there's nobody in this fucking movie that's actually like on an actual Zoom call talking to each other during a scene. It is
Mhm.
only like the person talking with the director. It has to be because there is no even like chemistry between the son and dad, son and daughter. Like it doesn't feel like they're actually having a conversation ever. It feels so disjointed and doesn't feel like actual like people talking.
Hmm.
Especially like the Eva Longoria stuff where she's like all she's there for is just to be like, look at this. And she turns her camera to like at a fucking like digital monster in the middle of like such
Oh,
fake
which looks
ass.
like dog shit too.
Yeah, it's like real footage that they just put a fucking like cheap as fuck CGI character in the middle of, and it's just like, look, this is where I am right now. It's like, Evo, how are you traveling so quickly? And why do you keep calling this man who's literally just
Yeah.
working on a fucking computer about this? Why are you calling anyone else?
Oh
Like, and this is one
wow.
of those movies that's like, it's perfect. I've seen probably at least five YouTubers make videos talking about this movie, and all of
Hmm.
them have at least a little bit of something else to say, and they're all like hilarious in their own way. Like, you're definitely, I don't know if you've watched the Drew Gooden video, but you're on like the same like level as him, where like he literally called the video like the best movie of all time.
Yeah, like obviously it's dog shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like I enjoyed watching this more than I enjoyed watching Freakier Friday.
I I get that. I don't agree, but I get it. Because it's an experience, granted a bad one, but it's still like you're not ever going to experience. This is a very unique experience because movies usually aren't this bad with this many big people involved, especially on a
Hmm.
fucking streaming platform. Like, I guess the funniest part is I saw a fucking like actually it was in Drew Gooden's video too, funnily enough. But at the end of it, because he waited to make his video a little bit after everyone else's, and he got this footage of the director doing an interview, and he said like the Amazon stuff that's literally like when they do the whole drone thing and everything. That was not Amazon doing that. Amazon actually acquired this movie. They were not involved in the production of it. They did that. He says anyway that they did this because Amazon had the essential workers during the pandemic, and we wanted to show our appreciation for those people by putting this into the
Wow.
movie. That's what he said. I was like, you couldn't be more of a
Wow.
fucking cuck for Amazon. I was like, of course they fucking bought the movie because you fucking bowed down to them before you even fucking made it. It's so
That's
crazy.
brilliant. Oh my, I didn't know that. Yeah, I'll probably
Yeah.
watch that video now because
Oh yeah, it's very
I
funny.
I would save the world if someone offered me $1,000 Amazon gift card. You know what I mean?
It's so fucking funny. That's like the movie itself is a fun watch, but the thing that just made me mad about it, it's like call this movie anything else, it doesn't get the same attention. But like this is not War of the Worlds. Like I haven't like I'm still very
Hmm.
curious to watch that old 60s one that you actually have on Vudu, right? I've never
I think
seen
I
it.
do actually. Yeah, I just got it in a big
Yeah.
collection.
I've seen the Tom Cruise one like when it was brand new when I was a kid, but it's supposed to be like a whole huge like world-ending thing. And in this movie, we don't really get any of that because Ice Cube's just sitting behind a fucking computer. It's
Well,
like
dude,
if
they're
this is the
after our
idea,
data. We can't let them have our data.
it's just so funny. Like the more I think about it, it's like, yeah, I want to rewatch it, but it's not for any like good reasons.
It's a type of movie like have some friends over late night,
Oh
drinking
yeah.
game, kind of like every time they mention Amazon,
It's
like
you.
that's
Oh
what it's
my
for.
God, it's you. Like we basically can make this whole movie right now.
It's very funny. That's why I like it. But yeah, no, I very firmly it's so bad that it's good 3 out of 5 for me.
Absolutely. I gave it a low rating, but honestly, it's a fun time to watch. It's like in that setting exactly. Have some buddies over, have some beers, and just fucking just yell at the TV for an hour and a half, and it's a fun time.
Hmm. There's a one a couple we skipped over here. But there was a re-release that you wanted to talk about.
Oh yes. So, Godzilla, the King of the Monsters. Not that movie though, but this movie came out what, 2016 originally in
Hmm.
Japan? Did it get a US release like widely here?
It may have.
Okay. Well, I don't remember either. I don't know if it did, but overall, never saw this movie. Kind of off my radar, other than my buddy over here, Adam, telling me about it because I don't, did you
I
like
love it with all
find,
my heart.
did someone like recommend it to you or did you just like get it one day?
Look how long the tail is. I love
Yeah,
that.
that's
That's my favorite
ridiculous.
thing about it. It's how long the tail is. I think someone got me the Blu-ray and then I watched the Blu-ray at home. And it has this poster. That's I think one of the best, the God Help Us All. A
Yeah.
beautiful poster. I love this movie. It's not as good as -1. I've definitely watched it before -1 though.
Yeah. And honestly, echo the same thing. It's an incredible movie. It got a re-release in 4K this year in theaters, and it was my first viewing of it, and I was very happy to do so that way because just experiencing, especially the sound design and everything, and seeing this Godzilla movie, while yes, especially with it being 2016, some of the effects maybe not be as polished as minus one, but
Hmm.
especially even compared to like the ones that came out around the similar time, like the Bryan Cranston Godzilla one that he was in. This movie
Hmm.
is so much better in every way, whether it be story, performances, even the shots of like especially like Godzilla in like the background way far away doing shit. I thought that stuff just looked so incredible. And you can definitely
Hmm.
see where like this inspired where we ended up getting with minus one. And it's
Hmm.
there's so much cool shit about it. And I haven't rewatched it since, but it's definitely one that'll be in the rotation whenever a new Godzilla movie comes out, and I cannot wait to watch it again.
Yeah, I'm a liar. I look back, my review is after I saw minus one. This is it's just I like that it's trying to do different things. Like I like
Yeah,
that I didn't know that it was about like the monster that shows at the beginning I didn't know was Godzilla. So like I like seeing the evolution of the character and like I said, such a cool design. Like the fact that
yeah.
it has this like and it's all like red at the tip too. Like it's
Oh
got this
shit.
red going on in the back, like in its spine and whatnot. Like oh
It
yeah,
is
and the
extremely
chest is so
detailed.
red. Oh yeah, I love this. I love this stupid little thing. But yeah, I also like that the movie, fun fact, this is made in China. But I think it's funny that minus one is like okay, we're dealing with a family, like mostly one man and a woman and a child, like it's just very small, like almost like minus one was. But this is not that. This is a lot of like we're in like government meetings and seeing
Yeah,
how like from a political perspective how they would handle this situation, and so I really think it's a unique perspective on this type of story, and so I think there's a lot of it that stands out in a really good way.
absolutely. I don't have too much more to add, but it's just an
Mhm.
incredible, fun movie.
I think I gave it 4 out of 5 of the heart, but I could go up to a 5 on a rewatch totally. Oh yeah.
Same. It's just so much fun, and yeah, if you ever have a chance to see it on a big screen, definitely recommend it because especially the sound design,
Hmm.
hearing all of the different Godzilla noises and everything, and just the especially when he's like powering up with like the radiation shit, it's just so weird, but it was loud as fuck in that theater too. It wasn't even IMAX, it was just a regular theater, but it was loud, but it was cool.
Hmm. Another one that you have here that I get to also be the good guy on this one. Okay. I loved, I know you can't tell from my Los Angeles Rams jersey and my
Your
Lightning
Bolt's hat.
Tampa Bay hat. This is my I love my girlfriend outfit. She's a Rams fan and a Lightning fan. And we're seeing My Big Bold Beautiful Journey tonight. So I wanted to like, represent her. But I'm a New York fan. I'm a fake New Yorker through and through. I've never lived there. I've been there maybe twice, and I love it. I get emotional when I hear the Empire State of Mind
I was gonna say
song.
Alicia Keys.
Yeah, yeah. So like, and anytime I see it in movies like New York propaganda, I'm always like, yeah, it's the city that never sleeps. Like, like taking it really seriously. So highest to lowest really translated for me because I've seen high and low. So I'm aware of how much that the setting of the movie impacts the presentation of the story and whatnot because the setting is almost a character in and of itself. And this movie does a wonderful job of that. You really get a feeling of how the director was Spike Lee, of course, how he feels about New York, and I think like the way that he utilizes the sports teams, I think is oh, you're a sports person, thank God. Okay, I've only talked to movie people about this. I think the way that he uses the Yankees and the Knicks is done very deliberately and has ties into the themes of the movie at large.
Interesting. Because the Knicks are good and the Yankees are bad.
No, 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 no. Almost the opposite, right? So the
Oh,
movie is about this like class divide, right? You know what I mean? It opens with this beautiful, oh, what a beautiful morning, and it's the big, beautiful city, and like how grand and gorgeous it is, and he's rich and he's sitting there on his like high little pedestal, and he has so much power and so much money, and they have live in such excess, and so him being diametrically opposed by ASAP Rocky's character, who is very poor, who is has the same passions, and he even says like if things would have went differently, little things gone differently in our lives, I would be you and you would be me. And I think at the beginning of the movie, we talk about the Knicks a lot. You see the jersey. I actually the Jalen Brunson jersey he was wearing, or like he has on his wall, the Suns wall, I was wearing. And he mentions the Knicks in opposition to the
Dude,
Celtics earlier on in the
I just have to
movie.
stop you just for a second because when I saw the Jalen Brunson jersey, it made me so fucking mad because I lost to you guys in the
Oh
playoffs.
yeah. Well, you guys were lucky to
I
be
was like,
there. You
God
know what I
damn it.
mean? You guys are at the very beginning of your ascension. So I wouldn't feel. I mean, I get it. Losing to the team in the playoffs sucks, but like you guys have a brighter future ahead of you. You know what I
I'll let
mean?
Spike, yeah, I was about to say, I'll let Spike have his moment.
Yeah, but so at the beginning of the movie, we're talking about the Knicks a lot, and then we like right around when the kidnapping happens and going forward, we stop talking about the Knicks and we started talking about the Yankees. He wears a Yankees hat during one of his little, missions. Literally, the whole drop situation is orchestrated around going to a Yankee game and being on the subway with all those Yankee fans, and it just kind of made me think about the relationship between those two teams because, the Yankees are the haves. You know what I mean? They have 27 championships. They're the richest team in all of baseball. They're an iconic brand outside of sports. People will wear Yankee. It's just fashion. The Yankees are the pinnacle of baseball. Even though they haven't won since 2009, even still today, they are the most popular team and they have it all. And the Knicks, even though they're from the same place, they have mostly the same fans, but they are the have-nots.
Yeah,
They've won two
they're like
championships
America's
ever.
underdog boys all the time.
Oh yeah, they haven't won since 73. Linsanity happens for a week and it's like the biggest news ever because we suck. And so I felt like when he used those two teams and how the relationship between those teams mirrors the relationship that Denzel has with ASAP Rocky, I felt like was a deliberate thing.
I can definitely catch on to that for sure. Picking up what you're putting down.
But yeah, other than that, though, I love Spike Lee. I think he made
Me
some
too.
interesting creative decisions. I think Denzel is really awesome in the movie. And I think that some of the changes they made, I thought were good. Some of them I thought were bad. This just overall was a very overwhelming experience for me, not only as a fan of the original, but a fan of Spike Lee, as a fan of New York. So I spent a lot of the movie comparing it to other things and viewing it within context instead of just viewing it as its own piece of art. So I was illuminated the whole time. I love the experience. I could see it going down to a 4, but I'm at a 5. You're at a 3.5. What do you not like about it?
So I do not come at it with the same perspective in some ways. Huge Spike Lee fan. I actually have his signed copy of Do the Right Thing. It's one of my prized possessions. Love that thing.
Uh-huh.
But that being said, Black Klansman is overall still my favorite movie of his, and that's his last release. And
No, no. Last theatrical release, he did The Five Bloods for
yeah, I forgot
Netflix.
about The Five Bloods, yeah. Last theatrical release, though, yes. I still haven't seen The Five Bloods, by the way.
Very good. Very, very, especially
I've
if you
heard
like Delroy Lindo.
I do. I will love it.
Hmm.
But yeah, the only like I personally still I don't think it's anywhere near Black Klansman for me still, 'cause that's just like a perfect movie.
Hmm.
But I do really enjoy this movie. Not familiar with High and Low. I know it has the Akira Kurosawa, all of that backstory to it, and it has the framing of that story around this, but I came from that perspective of really just seeing this as a movie rather than an adaptation, and I liked it. I didn't. The only thing that I really had the biggest problem with is there's just like a few like technical things where it was just like I feel like he had to like change up some story things or something because there were moments where like it was very obvious that there was like dubbing over like lines and it wasn't done in the most like I don't know, it looked like you could tell like they turned their heads just so they could like change the lines and it just those things like that and those kind of movies I'm not expecting to see that from someone as polished as Spike Lee. So that
Hmm.
was there was like things like that that really just took me out. But overall story and everything with this movie and the shot composition and everything, it's really a really well-made movie. And especially like I was surprised to see A$AP Rocky be able to handle his own against Denzel Washington and like going back and forth. Like that scene of them in the recording studio, that's a fucking like solid ass scene, especially for someone
Yes.
that's not an actor. That's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, there's personal beef there. It's got like infused with like this hip hop like rap battle almost going on between the two of
Yeah,
them. I think that the differences between this being set in New York and this being set in Japan are like they make it justified of it being a remake because the cultural and societal differences between those two places really play an impact on how the story is executed and how the characters, the dynamics between the characters are. I heavily recommend going back and rewatching that original movie,
I
especially with the
definitely want
context
to.
of like read up on like like IMDb trivia and stuff like that. I found that very illuminating while I watched it because I didn't know that's like the first like maybe not the first, but like it was like a police procedural in the second half. Whereas this one's more like I'm one man hunting down the bad guy,
Yeah, he's
you
like the
know.
cops really aren't helping me. Basically, I'm gonna do this on my own to try to basically make it my way versus because he didn't want to give up his own money. Basically, he's trying to do it and
Yeah.
kind of make it work out that he could get the son back and get his money still. Because at the end of the day, Denzel's more worried about Denzel, which I mean, most people in that situation, they're probably going to feel that way too. That's what's like it's a very interesting way to kind of put yourself in those shoes too, of being like, oh, if it was my best friend's kid, am I gonna put up fucking millions of dollars to get him back? And if I'm already in a little bit of financial question, I would say, just because of like his business dealings and everything kind of up in the air. So it's like, it's a very interesting way to look at it, especially if you put yourself in Denzel's shoes, if you were that kind of guy.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm way too high on it, but that's just because I'm a New York guy, and I hate the Yankees. But I like I said, I really appreciate how they were used in the movie, and I think there's a lot of corn. Like I think the score is kind of off. I think it goes on way too long at the end, especially compared to the original. But this is one that I can't wait to rewatch, and I'm really happy with what we got.
Yeah, other than those little technical things like I talked about, it's still a really good movie. And I haven't seen a ton of other Spike Lee's other works that people deem not as good sometimes, but
Hmm.
I'm interested to compare more. And I honestly want to do like a side-by-side comparison eventually to the original and this just to see, because I'm very curious. But a couple more that I know that you probably didn't catch at all. The Twister, Caught in the Storm, which is a documentary on Netflix.
Hmm.
That's honestly a really good documentary if you're ever interested. I forget if it's talking about one that happened in Missouri in 2011, but they have like actual footage of the storm and shit, and it's
Hmm.
intense. And they have like the actual people talking about it, and it was just a fun watch. So if you're at all interested in that kind of documentary thing at all, it's a very interesting watch. But also Jimmy and Stiggs, which is a movie that was technically came out on film festival spin, I think, in 2024. It got a wide-ish release this year.
Hmm.
And it is the weirdest thing that I've seen this year by a lot. It is
Is it
very
a?
much
Oh, okay, so it's not a document. I don't know why I thought it was a documentary.
No, this one is a straight up like horror movie, like a horror like sci-fi-ish movie, but it's literally just this one guy who is also the writer, director, and everything and star of the movie. I think it was one of those pandemic things, but where we
Hmm.
have a movie like War of the Worlds where it's all on a Zoom call very lazily. This guy's fucking been working on this movie. He I think he like shot it over like a 3 year period because he literally was like doing it all himself. It wasn't like a bunch of like computer effects. It was all like practical stuff, and he was literally like destroying his own living space. I think he still lives in the same like apartment that he recorded in, and he uses like a bunch of like fake blood and shit. Like it's very much, I think what it says on the poster that someone actually reviewed it, and they said it's like They Live meets Dead Alive on
On
speed.
speed.
Yeah, and Dead Alive was one of Peter Jackson's really like old movies where he was basically like I think he called it splat stick is what he called it, where he would use like a bunch of blood and like crazy gore effects to like make comedy out of it. But
Hmm.
it's very much in that same vein as Evil Dead. It's super crazy. There's like weird like alien monster things coming after this guy. where it's like you're not sure if this is actually all happening to him or if he's just tripping out on drugs for a while of it because he's also like a drug user and like a punk guy.
Hmm.
But it all takes place in this one house, and it's just an insane, like, it's only 80 minutes long, and it's just an insane ride to go on. Eli Roth ended
Hmm.
up producing it to give him more money, but it's all basically just this one guy. I think he has a buddy that comes in eventually, but it's literally, I think between those two, I don't know if there's any actual other human beings in the movie.
Wait, is this the one that opens with a couple like fake like Grindhouse trailers?
Yes.
Okay, I watched some of the fake like get out of that house, bitch, or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
yeah.
was okay.
And
Yeah,
that
I
one's
watched
actually
the
getting made
opening of
into a
this.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm aware. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
watched the opening. That's crazy that
It's
I
a
actually know a little bit about this.
Yeah, my friend Eric actually recommended it to me. He had seen it before, but it is a blast, honestly. I think you would honestly get a kick out of it just from seeing it, from even just looking at it. They did like a behind the scenes featurette after the movie ended in theaters too, and they like showed how he was shooting some of it. And just knowing that he was doing it all himself is just insane. Because it's all, like I said, it's like a bunch of practical effects along with the camera stuff. And he like literally like destroyed his own home.
Yeah, that your pitch does resonate with me, so that's one I probably will get to.
It's weird, but it's cool.
Hmm. I mean, you had a couple other smaller ones before we get to Caught
Life
Stealing,
List,
the
another
next one.
Netflix one. It's fine. It has that one girl that's in a bunch of Netflix shit right now. What's her name? Sophia Carson. She pretty much is the same.
Yeah.
She's been in a bunch of other Netflix shit.
Oh, and
She's
the
fine.
Descendants movies.
I've not seen the Descendants movies still. My niece keeps telling me that we're gonna watch them one of these days, but
Oh shit, Tyler.
not.
If I don't know if you remember Tyler. Tyler gave it 5 stars, The Life List.
Yeah, no, it's not that. He's a bit crazy on that one.
I just commented, really? Like, really?
I watched The Doors for the first time recently, the one with Val Kilmer, where he played
Hmm.
like the lead singer Jim Morrison
Oh,
from The
I didn't know
Doors.
that was a narrative movie. I always thought that that was a documentary.
Yeah, no, I think there is a documentary made about them, but this one is a narrative and it's very good. He very
Hmm.
much embodies Jim Morrison a lot. Watched Rush Hour and Rush Hour 2 for the first time recently. Really
Hmm.
enjoying those movies. Haven't watched the third one yet, but I've heard that one's not as good.
Well, they're all right. Brad Ratner's a piece of shit, but there's great
Oh yeah, that's
chemistry
what I
between the
said
two
too.
leads.
I literally said like fuck Brett Ratner at the end of my second one. I was like, if he wasn't involved in these, he'd do way better.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Um,
Jackie Chan's awesome in those. But Return of the Living Dead, don't know if you've ever seen that zombie movie. Very good. I have it on my Vudu. It's like a horror comedy, but fun 80s movie.
hmm. I saw you saw the Toxic Avenger. I really wanted to get to that one. You seem to like it a good
Yes.
bit.
Yes, Toxic Avenger. So it's a remake of an old like 80s movie. But that's kind of almost where it ends. It's pretty much like that idea, but it has nothing to do with this story almost at all. Because like the original movie, it's like this kid who's a teenager and he's like a janitor at like this like public pool, and like he ends up getting like bullied and getting like tossed out of a window into like a toxic fucking like barrel of shit that's just like open. It's like an open truck traveling down the side like on like a main street, and they push him out of a window and he falls directly into a toxic barrel.
Hmm. Oh, geez.
But
It's pretty like
so yeah,
animated,
that's how that
goofy.
one, yeah, that's how that one ended up happening. But in this new one, Peter Dinklage is the Toxic Avenger, which the other guy was not a little person at
Hmm.
all. But that's a whole added element almost to it. But so in this one, he is a janitor at this like actual like lab, and he ends up like getting sick, and he ends up actually his girlfriend, I don't even know if it's even his wife, has a kid, and she dies, and he ends up basically like adopting that kid who's not even his own. And then he finds out that he fucking has cancer and shit and is dying, and the business isn't offering him insurance, which the business is owned by Kevin Bacon too, which I didn't even know Kevin Bacon was in the movie until I was watching it.
Hmm.
But and then he ends up like trying to, because they won't give him health insurance, he like goes and tries to like steal money and shit. And then as he goes in to steal shit, there's another person also trying to do like some espionage shit. And he ends up getting chased down and falls into a bunch of toxic shit and becomes the Toxic Avenger. But
Hmm.
that being said, that's basically the setup for the movie. it's a really funny movie. It's ridiculous, it's stupid, but if you like that kind of stuff, which I think you would probably get a kick out of it. Jacob Tremblay, the kid from like Room and shit's in it.
Mm.
He's the girlfriend's son.
Mm. Yeah, I didn't know it was a comedy. It looked like more like a horror superhero, like almost like the Clayface movie they're making.
Yeah,
That's what it felt like.
it's definitely more lighthearted. It's violent. It definitely has some gnarly effects in there, but it's pretty cool. So Peter Dinklage, after he becomes the Toxic Avenger, he only does the voice of the character, and then I think they had a woman who's of shorter stature get into the actual costume itself, which I thought that was kind of disappointing, but it doesn't really look too obviously different. I was just sad that Peter
Hmm.
Dinklage didn't get into the costume. But
Hmm. I guess it makes sense because she might be like skinnier, like so to put
oh
like all
yeah.
that on
Be able
top
to
of
do all
her.
that, yeah, to be able to do all the different movements and shit too, because he's not a, they actually have him like try to fight and shit. I don't think Peter Dinklage is trained to do anything like that.
Yeah. I'll definitely
But
get to that one. That one's one I will definitely get to.
yeah, overall, it's a really fun watch. Definitely worth checking out. But jumping on to one that we've definitely both seen, Darren Aronofsky's new movie, Caught Stealing. What'd you think?
I went in with like this is one of the classic cases of like I felt like I was gonna like this movie because I like the director. I like Austin Butler. I'm a big Austin Butler fan. And I did think I didn't like the look of it because it looked like a Guy Ritchie-esque type, like goon movie.
Guy Ritchie fan?
And yeah, well, I don't know. But like I really enjoyed this. I was told I was gonna love it and I ended up just really liking it. So I came out kind of disappointed. So I think time will be nice to this one. But I really like the performances in this. Like that it feels like this after hours type, movie. A good guy just trying to get through and life just keeps punching him left and right as he's trying to wriggle out of this situation. As a sports fan, I related to it very heavily. Like when he gets, woken up out of a coma in the hospital or whatever, and he's like, "How are the Giants doing?" I'm like, "Same, man. That's how I would be." I will say, as a sports fan, I thought it was gonna be more about baseball. I was disappointed it wasn't more about baseball. But one thing that disappointed me about this movie, actually, in contrast to Highest to Lowest, I felt like that I care a lot about clearly about sports apparel, and so it was kind of disappointing to me when there's a scene where he's like running away in a subway during a Giants Mets game, and you see like one of the prominent extras like walking up the staircase was wearing a jersey. And I was like, oh, that's 2010s era New York Mets jersey right there. I know that 100%. And this movie is set in the 90s. So that's
Yeah, they
weird.
they definitely probably just did like a casting call and they were like, "Hey, if you got some Giants gear or whatever, come down and we'll put you in the movie."
Well, I just felt
Didn't
like that
even
was a
think about
goofy
it. Yeah.
non-attention to detail. And I guess Highest to Lowest doesn't have to deal with that problem because it's not set, it's not a period piece like this is. But like for example, like at the end of the movie, he's watching the game, the Cubs versus the Giants, and I see Barry Bonds there, which I know Barry Bonds in the 90s. But the pitcher for the Cubs was only there one season in 2003. So I know that the film like that takes place in the 90s. They say it in the log line. So I was like, just little like now,
Yeah,
does that make
that's
the movie bad in any way? No. It's just an
yeah,
annoying
that's when the
detail that I
book was
didn't like.
written too, actually. The book was published in like the late 90s, and actually a little fun fact, I don't know if you knew about it, but Darren Aronofsky wanted to make this way back then, but someone else got a hold of the rights before he could, and then the author told him basically if he ever got the rights back, he would come back to Darren, and that's eventually he finally did. So it was like a project that Darren wanted to make
Mhm.
years ago.
I didn't know that it was an adaptation of something, but I do
Yeah.
like the vibe that like he just got a guy an Oscar, which he's gotten Black Swan. It was the anniversary of that recently. He got her an Oscar. I think he clearly knows that he's not going to get his due. I don't know if he has a writing Oscar or anything like that,
I don't
but
think so.
getting picture and direct. So I like that he took the clout from getting that Oscar movie for The Whale
This
and made a fun movie like
I'll
this.
say this was a passion project, I think, more than anything. Like he didn't really care if everyone was going to come out to see it. I don't feel like as much because it hasn't really been marketed that way either. Like it had
Hmm.
some heavy push with the trailers a little bit, but I haven't really seen like a bunch of the cast really come out and talk about it as much. I mean, until like partway through the movie, the two rabbi dudes, Vincent D'Onofrio and fucking Liev Schreiber. I did not like I started to realize Vincent D'Onofrio a few minutes like into it, but I did not realize that it was Schreiber like as the other guy until like almost like 20 minutes till the movie was over. I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "It's both of them." I just thought it was just one of them.
Yeah, yeah, I love the supporting cast. I love that the movie is sexy. I love that the action is grimy.
That and how dark it is. Like I did not expect them to really just take people out as much as they did. I thought it would be like some reveals of being like, oh, they weren't actually dead. It's like, no, they're fucking dead and they're gone. And it's
Hmm.
fucking just like boom. It has no hesitancy. And I kind of really liked that and respected it a lot too. It didn't really try to be as commercially accepting to people, like how I was kind of just saying there. It didn't try to dumb itself down for the audience.
Hmm. All right, Fawn's being all like, she wants to be a part of the show
Oh,
right now.
oh, puppy.
Just a little doggy bear. But yeah, I'm at 4 out
Oh.
of 5 for Caught Stealing. I'll buy it on Blu-ray, and I think I'll enjoy it a lot more on rewatch.
Me too. I'm very excited. Zoe Kravitz was very hot in it.
Oh yeah, and so is Austin Butler. Oh my gosh.
Oh
Like there's a lot of
yeah.
girls I saw at the theater that were going to see it just because they like him.
I mean, and honestly, like I'm a big Doctor Who guy, and seeing
Oh,
Matt
Matt
Smith in
Smith.
something so much better than fucking Morbius makes me very happy. He had some very funny moments in this movie.
Hmm. And then
But jumping
we
into
only have a
another
couple left here.
Yeah, let's jump into the poopiest of them all because I don't really even have too much to say about it. Conjuring Last Rites just disappointed the fuck out of me. I mean, the last Conjuring movie was worse than this one, still in my opinion, but this one it has a few moments that I enjoyed, like the scary monster guy with like the overalls and stuff. That ghost was pretty cool, but like so much of this movie was just I could tell it's like, oh, they want to end the Warrens movie, but it felt like a family drama much more than it felt like any Conjuring movie, which when it comes to James Wan franchise, this one's always kind of been my lowest. I'm much more of a Saw and Insidious guy, but
Hmm.
I enjoyed the first two Conjuring movies. The last
Because they're directed
few,
by an actual director and not
correct.
Michael Chavis.
Yeah, this guy, and I forgot right when I was going into it, I like watched some video and it's like, oh, it's the same director as fucking, what was it, La Llorona and Nun 2?
Nun 2, yeah, you know those
Yeah,
hits.
two of the worst movies come out of that franchise in a long time. And yeah, he's just a bad director. I mean, you can't blame Patrick Wilson or Vera Farmiga. They've been playing these characters for a while. They got it down pat. It's just
Hmm.
the, I mean, even like I love James Wan, but when I saw him in the background of the fucking wedding, it made me mad because I was like, why are you even here? You abandoned this shit.
I know, right? I noticed that right away. And then the mom from the first Conjuring movie, like it just felt like such jerk off shit. I
Well,
think
I saw all that, and then that made me even more mad too, because I'm like, why the fuck? You had that other girl, McKenna Grace or whatever, casted as their daughter. She's not like that young. You probably could have like aged her up with makeup to make her fit this storyline a little bit more if you wanted her to be a little bit older when she got married or whatever. But like, though this new actress, she's fine, but she just didn't look anything like the little girl that we had in the other movie.
Oh, I was not revisiting this franchise going back into this movie. I mean, the first Conjuring came out at a very impressionable time for me. The second one I think is good.
Dude, the
Third
best
one
Conjuring movie is
blows.
called Annabelle Comes Home, in my opinion.
And Creation I like too. I think both of those I enjoyed a
Yeah,
good
Creation's
bit.
pretty good too, but Annabelle Comes Home. Did we see that one together or did I see them with Chad? I can't remember. I
I
saw it in
think you
like a
might have saw it with
pre-screening.
Chad. Yeah, no, it was not me then.
Okay.
It was not me.
Yeah, I saw like it was
Um,
like a month before it came out. It was early as shit, but
but I echo everything you said. I think that it felt more like a drama, and honestly, like that, like the stuff with the Warrens and like, ooh, are they going to accept their new son-in-law? Like that was more interesting to me. I
it
think
is,
that
but it was just like, yeah, I wish it could have been a different if don't book it as a fucking Conjuring movie. It's not a horror movie. It's just like, I don't know. It just made me
none of
mad.
it was scary to me. It was not scary at all. And then I think Patrick Wilson's daddy, and he was very funny in this
Yeah.
movie. I love the ping pong scene. I don't know why that's the thing that people are pointing at. I love ping pong.
It just took me, I don't hate ping pong. It was just like, it added more to the fact of like, this is a family drama, and now it wants to be like a freaking, like, almost like a comedic, like, family movie. It's just like, what are we trying to be here? We're trying to be 10 different movies at one time. It's like if we
Hmm.
would have stuck one direction with literally any choice that we made, instead of trying to shove it all into this movie and making it, what was it like? Was it over 2 hours? Because it felt like it.
Fun fact, the first Conjuring movie is an hour and 52 minutes. The second Conjuring movie is 2 hours and 14 minutes. The third Conjuring movie, back to an hour and 52 minutes. The fourth Conjuring movie, back to 2 hours and 14 minutes. Like on the dot, these movies
That's
are in a
weird.
pattern of runtime. And yeah, way too long. What the fuck are we doing here for over
We
two
wasted,
hours?
yeah, it's just like we could have cut a few different of these storylines and it would have been so much better. Like
Mhm.
I would say like my favorite moment I would say of any of it was the scene with the daughter in the wedding dress studio thing. Like that moment was
Oh,
probably
the
the
mirrors,
creepiest
yeah.
moment of all, just because like being in the dark in a mirror room just sounds creepy. But
My favorite part was when Patrick Wilson says he wishes he could order lasagna, and I laughed really hard, and no one else in my theater. Packed theater. By the way, this is a huge hit. We are idiots for not drafting this movie. And none of my leagues, though I do stuff like this, no one took The Conjuring Last Rites. Huge
well,
surprise
yeah,
hit.
'cause I don't think anyone was expecting it, especially with that last one being what it was. It came out on HBO Max, and I feel like everyone pretty much forgot about it, rightfully so.
Oh yeah, but this one, yeah, no, 2 out of 5. I'm already out on the franchise, but I'm more out now.
Yeah. Bambi the Reckoning was better than this. I gave it a 2.5. I gave this one a 2.5, but I might even drop it down to a 2 because it's booty. Bambi
I'll
Reckoning
watch
at least
that.
has funny moments, but overall, very stupid movie. Better than the first Winnie the Pooh, I'll give it that. But it's very
Dan
much
Allen.
trying, I think it's supposed to be part of that same series too.
Interesting. Yeah, I put it on my watch list, so if it comes to anywhere where I have
Yeah,
availability
if it
to it,
comes
I will
on,
see it.
I think I rented it on Amazon because like I had those credits or whatever. But
Hmm.
Unknown Number, the high school catfish, it's like the big documentary on Netflix at the moment. I don't want to spoil it in case you actually do watch it, just because it's fucking, you're not expecting who the catfish is, I'll say that. And it takes place actually in Michigan, like less than 2 hours away from where I'm currently sitting. And just knowing that someone like this could do this, it's just really creepy and scary.
Okay. I mean, I like Catfish from back in the day.
You would probably get a kick out of it then, because the editing I enjoyed the most too, because they literally get the actual like text from the person that's that what it is these two high school kids, they end up start dating, and then each of them start getting texts from this random number, and it's like just the fucking most crude shit about their relationship, saying that they're having sex with the boyfriend and whatnot, and he hates you and he fucks me way better and just shit like that. And then when you find out who's sending all of the shit, it's just like oh, what the fuck? It's crazy.
Hmm.
But I gave it a 3 out of 5. It's not like the best documentary ever, but it's definitely gonna shock you to your fucking core if you don't know anything about it going in.
Okay. Cool,
Hercules
cool,
in New
cool.
York, Off of Your Voodoo, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Wait,
horrible
what?
movie. Hercules in New York.
I have that?
You bought it in one of those packs, I think.
Oh, I'll
It's
watch
one of
it
Arnold
then.
Schwarzenegger's
Okay.
first movies from 1970. He's
Oh,
literally
yeah,
is
it
like
looks,
playing like he's literally like starts where he's like supposed to be in like the wherever Hercules is from, I can't remember. But he's like supposed to be up there with
Grease.
like Mount Olympus or whatever, yeah.
Interesting.
He like
Yeah,
gets
I will
sent down
definitely
or
watch that
whatever.
movie now because of that. Um, one that you or that we both watched, I think this is the last one on your list that we both watched, was The Long Walk. I actually really enjoyed
Oh,
that one. I think
yeah.
Cooper Hoffman's great. David Johnson is great. Johnson? I don't know, but he's
Something like that,
great.
yeah.
In this movie, I don't know. I think the contrasting tones of like we're just the dudes hanging out, with like all this gore and horror is like really
Yeah.
effective.
When I was talking about earlier saying that there's a movie fighting for my number one spot. Weapons was definitely in that conversation, but I think this one really is currently my favorite movie at the moment. Just because, I
Hmm.
mean, obviously, in our current climate, gun violence is at an all-time high, practically it seems.
Hmm.
And it it has so much to say while also being just like a perfectly made movie. Because like we have these characters who really. at the end of the day, in the most bare bones excuse or the most bare bones explanation, just some dudes walking down the street for many miles. But
Mm,
at the same time, you're getting all of this character development so fucking well, where literally when the shooting stuff starts happening to these people, you feel it so hard, especially for some of these characters who like you've just been learning about them while all of these buddies are learning about them, and some of them you hate, some of them you like a little bit more than others. And while that onion unfolds, then the brutality of them, like I was expecting a couple times to the camera to possibly turn away, but it does not. It shows you everything in its brutality, and I think it's better for it. It might not feel good when you're watching it because it's not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to be shocking to your system because seeing this brutality, although we see it constantly on the news every day and on social media, it
mm,
shouldn't be something that it's just becomes so callous to you. And the
mm,
conversations that they have with each other too, even about the gun violence of wanting retribution for certain things, there's just so much here that you can dig into even more. And like, I like how they honestly have the time period a bit more vague too, of like, it's a bit like something happened, but they don't really tell you exactly how the government shapes up and everything. Like, you definitely get like the Hunger Games kind of post-apocalyptic vibe, but you never
mm.
get anything like specifically, which I kind of like that.
Well, that was
Um,
kind of my biggest issue with the movie is because I love the characters and that's all well and good. Just the world building, I didn't really understand how we got here. I didn't understand why this is a thing that we do and why people volunteer for it and why it's helpful or to
well, I think they kind
society,
of just
what
said they're
society's
like
like.
the society kind of almost like ended to where it's basically just like this all-powerful government versus everyone else. And like you pretty much, because the country is in such dire straits, that you
Hmm.
pretty much have to make the choice of you try to be the last man standing to try to earn a living for your family or die trying, basically, which is a dark reality. But I mean, especially in war times, I feel like that's what a lot of people might have even felt like during some certain world wars and shit like that too, which I don't know when Stephen King originally wrote the story it's based on, but it'd be interesting to see if it was around any of like because it gave me a lot of Vietnam War vibes as well,
Hmm.
of like these people who don't really want to be involved in the situation whatsoever, but their hand is being forced so much that they
Hmm.
honestly don't have a choice, whether it's being drafted or being in dire straits financially.
Hmm. Yeah, I no, like I just thought that like yeah, I wanted more from the world building, and I also thought that the conceit of the movie was kind of ridiculous. Like no one's like even young men in their prime aren't walking 3 miles per hour at least for like days on end, like with
Yeah.
no breaks whatsoever. And like a big thing to me was like the poop of it all. Like if you poop like that and you don't wipe, I'm telling you that is you are going to die from that.
Oh yeah.
Like you are not going to be able to walk. You're going to have such a crazy rash. You will not be able to understand it. Like I don't know. I just thought that that was ridiculous. That being said, I would like to watch this. I know they did the screenings on treadmills. I would like to like go to the treadmill in my local gym and just see if I can walk 3 miles per hour for the entirety runtime of the movie.
Yeah, that would be actually really fun. But yeah, I can definitely see what you're saying there. I really connected with it for some odd reason. It's really, I have not
Oh,
stopped
people
thinking about
are.
it
It's an
since I've watched
artisan
it.
film for AMC.
Well, yeah, and I mean, even like I cannot even lie, I cried multiple times in this movie. It like hit me so emotionally multiple times, especially with certain characters. It was just like, God damn. And the
So right
certain
now, your
ways that
favorite
people
movie
will.
of the year is this, or you said Weapons, or what else?
Sinners is still at the top right now, but I think this one is like right next to it. Weapons is
Oh
definitely an
yeah.
honorable mention too, but it's hard to beat out Sinners. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean the moment that really got me for some reason too, like when Cooper was talking about his dad or whatever, I could not stop thinking about Philip Seymour Hoffman when he was like talking about how important his father was to him, and even though it
Hmm.
was the character saying it, I was like, I'm just picturing him actually speaking about his own father in that moment.
Oh yeah, and I like watching his interviews where he's asked questions about his dad and the mature way in which he handles them, I think is really impressive. I think these two young actors are two guys who are on the precipice of like young stardom.
Yeah. I
So
was
it's
not
awesome to see
expecting
them
this
build their
dude who was
legacy.
literally because he was in something else this year too, wasn't he? Because he was in the Alien movie or
David
the
Johnson,
Alien movie
yeah.
last year.
I don't remember the other movie that he's in this year, but I know he's doing more than Cooper Hoffman is.
Yeah. Both performances were amazing. I mean, even the fucking kid, like, I knew I recognized the Asian kid, but I did not put
Hmm.
together that he's the kid from Karate Kid until after I got out of the theater.
Excuse me. I only see for David Johnson. Rye Lane is a movie that I like as well.
Rye Lane, yes, on Hulu. That's what I remember him from.
And
That
then
came
Cooper
out
Hoffman
last
was
year,
also
but
in Saturday Night.
yeah. I see, that's the one thing. Like, I really liked him in that. I liked his performance in that Licorice Pizza or whatever it was called.
Oh, I
I did
love
not like
Licorice
that movie
Pizza.
overall.
Oh, I'm huge. The Bradley Cooper's hair bouncing up and down. It's still one of the funniest scenes in the movie is when he confronts him about the moving thing.
Yeah, that part is really funny.
So funny.
But
But
yeah,
I love both
overall,
these young guys.
so much. I mean, I was not expecting like Mark Hamill to be like it wasn't a huge role, but just the menacing presence that he has even when he's not on screen. I was
Hmm.
pretty surprised by that. And to see him play, like, I don't think I've ever, other than I think in like a couple different like DC projects where he's like played characters, I don't know if he's ever played like a villain on live on screen other than there was that one horror movie that was like an anthology where he played like a guy who was a kind of a good guy but then turned evil. But it
Hmm.
was really interesting to see him like play this almost Joker-like character in a way of the levels of evil he gets while still being subdued.
Hmm. And he was in Life of Chuck earlier this year, so he's having himself a nice little year for himself.
Absolutely, especially in the career that he's had so far, still being in such huge projects like that. Pretty cool.
Hmm. And then I think there's two more movies that you wanted to touch on, and I do think we're gonna have to pinch it off after that.
Yeah. I can talk
We're
about these
running a little long
yeah,
here.
talking about these real quickly. Spinal Tap 2. If you like the first Spinal Tap, you're gonna like this one. Have you ever seen the original Spinal Tap?
I will because you just got it, and I noticed that, and I was like, that's on my to-do list.
Yes, it was on sale. It is very much I compare it a bit to like Dewey Cox when it comes to like it's a
That's what
fake
I said to someone
mockumentary.
this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
But I don't think it's as funny as Dewey Cox, but it is very funny. It's especially if you like British humor a little bit too, because it's a bit like that. Like it has like the silly jokes, but also a bit drier at points too. But all
Hmm.
of the guys, like even comparing their performances to when they were younger in the 80s versus now, I don't think they really even missed a fucking beat. The new movie is a lot of fun. It's not really it's not too different, honestly, in style than the original. They bring back a lot of the cast. I mean, you could compare it a lot of like the cameos of different musicians. People might get being like, oh, they're kind of overfilling it, but I don't think they did. I think they did it a bit tastefully, and it wasn't like cameos of just being like, oh, we just could get these names for
Happy
because we had
Gilmore
the
too.
money. Yeah, exactly. You could easily
Hmm.
compare it to that, but I don't think it's on that same level because like the people they bring in, it's like Questlove because they're looking for a drummer. They like bring in like famous drummers because all of their drummers like the ongoing joke and even in the original is like all of their drummers die in some weird reason for some reason and like some of it's just like oh he just like spontaneously combusted during a concert we don't know why and it's just shit like that.
I think I walked in and that's the one joke I did see is them talking about
Yeah.
replacing a drummer.
Yeah, there's a lot of silly jokes like that, but then like Elton John is in it too, and he plays a song with them, and it's a lot of goofy shit. But I think a lot of legacy fans like that. Like there was a dude sitting next to me that don't know him from a stranger in the hallway, but we were both like laughing hysterically. There was only a few of us in the theater because it was like the
Hmm.
afternoon of opening day, but it was one of those things where like if you can see it in a theater of people that are fans, I think it's very rewarding because it has really good
Hmm.
music too because it's very much like a love letter to like 80s rock, but 80s like hair metal type of thing, like Guns N' Roses type of music, but
Mm.
If you like that kind of shit, I think you get a kick out of it.
Yeah, I'll definitely give it a chance. It's not doing well at my theater at all. Like only like a handful of
Honestly, me
people every
neither.
showtime.
It is a very I think the movie, I don't know if it was hugely successful back when it originally came out, but it definitely has like a cultish following, I think. And unfortunately, it seems like the cult following might stay cult because I don't think they're coming to the theaters.
Hmm. And then
But
you gave
one
this
movie
one
that's
what?
getting, I gave it a 3.5.
Hmm.
But one movie that's bringing all the motherfuckers out to the theater this opening weekend is that Demon Slayer movie. Now, this is
Hmm.
coming from someone who has never seen a frame of Demon Slayer until today watching that movie. The anime has been on for, I think, like 3 or 4 seasons. And I can't wait to start it tonight because that movie was fucking sick. The animation, I mean, it rivals any other animation that I've seen in a while. I mean, even on the level of like Spider-Verse and shit, because like that stuff, while it was like reinventive and it's kind of been like its own world, but the stuff they accomplish in this one of like all the different fighting styles and like the camera moves around like it's like an actual movie throughout some of the animation, and it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know how I'm not the biggest like animation expert nor anime person. I've watched a few, but I'm not the biggest anime head. But after watching this movie, I'm very much more curious, especially in just Demon Slayer alone, because it like brings in the horror stuff a lot because it's literally like this the show starts of this kid is like living at home and then he comes back to his house and literally like his whole family is murdered other than his sister is like still alive. But then when he gets down like they like start to leave and then he finds out that his sister is a fucking demon. That like demons in
Oh,
the
I've
story
seen
are
this.
basically yeah, they're basically like
Yeah, I've seen the pilot.
vampires.
Yeah, yeah, I like the pilot. I will say this is one I'm out on. I cannot embark upon an entire show, and
Dude,
all the other
you also
movies.
don't need to see the movie in theaters if you're not a fan because you would probably hate the runtime. Because if I told you how long it is,
How long?
it is an hour, it is 155 minutes, so it is over 2.5 hours long.
Jeez, yeah. I mean, I'm happy people are enjoying it. It looks fun. It looks good. The poster looks cool.
Well, and what they're doing instead of continuing the show is they're doing 3 movies, and this is the first of those 3 movies.
Oh, when's the next one come out?
I am not sure. I'd have to look into that, but that's what I read online apparently is that because they left it very open-ended, and that's what I was like, what the fuck? I thought it was like the end, but yeah. So apparently they're more on the horizon.
And then what did you? I'm off your letterbox at the moment. What did you rate
That
it?
is I gave it a 4.5 because I wrote too. I was like, once I know all of the context and actually understand everything that's going on, I could probably bump it up to a 5. But
There
with
we
me,
go.
with me, especially with some of these characters, I also watched it subtitled, not dubbed, which apparently the dub has like Channing Tatum and other people in it too. So
Oh
that's pretty
wow.
fucking cool. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was at the premiere and shit. He like posted pictures on Instagram yesterday, and I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, very curious to see which character he even dubs. I have no idea, but overall, it's badass movie. If you're a fan, you're gonna like it. But that being said, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about? Anything on the horizon for you?
I don't want to go through each one just because I know we're a little pressed for time. But ones that I will say so that you know, ones that to catch up on maybe for ne our next episode. I did a rewatch of Hamilton. I did the Thursday Murder Club, Lurker. That's one I would like to recommend. Nona's was all right. I did The Roses, I would recommend. I did Neja 2. That's a whole thing. The Neja and Neja 2.
I
Oh my
saw
gosh.
that. I don't know what it is, but I saw you logged it.
Yeah, the first one's for free on YouTube. I'm not recommending it, but it's a big deal. And then oh
I've
boy,
never
there's a
heard of this Lurker movie.
long stretch. I did Fixed. I did on Netflix. That was gross.
Oh yeah, that's that new animation one from that guy. My
Yeah,
brother loves that
gross.
guy.
Pretty gross. I love the guy too, but that movie was gross. I did The Bad Guys 2, and I think that's just about everything that we didn't
Yeah.
talk about here.
Definitely
But
curious
yeah,
about this Lurker movie. I've never even heard of it until you brought it up.
it's a lot like friendship and just
It's
other
got that
things.
guy from Saltburn.
Yeah, and it feels a lot like Saltburn, honestly. So, but I really like that. That's probably one of the better ones I would recommend. But yeah, if there's one thing I could recommend for you today, I have, for the third time in the last 3 months, I have been embarking upon a rewatch of what I am ready to call the greatest trilogy of all time. The Before trilogy, I just did Before Sunset last night. The first one, Before Sunrise, is on my Vudu. I implore you to rewatch to watch that. And I don't know how you're going to get to the second and
No,
the third
not
one's on
even
Hulu.
rewatch. I was about to say I've never seen any of them, so this is all it'll all be fresh to me.
Yeah, I saw that it was on your one to watch, and I was like, please,
Yeah,
they're the best romance movies of all time. They're
I'll
all
find
perfect
them.
and amazing. And yeah, the first one's on my Vudu though, so that one's on me. I'll be getting the other two when they go on sale again.
Perfect.
But
Yeah, I added on. I got the black and white cut of that Mike Flanagan movie. What's the
Hush,
Hush? Got that yesterday, and Oh Brother Where Art Thou? I don't know if you've ever seen that, but
great
Coen
movie,
Brothers. Yes,
great
love that
movie.
movie. So yeah,
Mhm.
those are my newest Voodoo ads.
Yeah, I know I'll be doing Spinal Tap, and I didn't know if Hush was Hush like three or something because there's like a claw mark next to it.
Yeah, they
Um,
apparently he like re-released it and then they like redid some of the audio and stuff too to make it more intense as like a you're viewing it as a deaf person, I think, or like hearing challenged anyway. So very
should I
curious to see how
watch
it
that version
compares.
or the original?
I will let you know, actually. I have not watched it yet. I've watched the original years ago, but I've not watched this new cut yet.
Hmm. Well, movies are dreams. I'm so happy that we have so many great movies to talk about, and then we had an opportunity to come back here and talk about movies. Um, you could find me at Disappointment Media. That's where the majority of my written reviews have been going these days. I'm I actually tonight I have to do a video review for My Big Bold Beautiful Journey, so I'm probably gonna churn out a few during that time. But yeah, that's what I have going on. I've been very busy with work these days, so I haven't been as active.
Same. I have so many ideas for videos that I want to do, but I
Mhm.
just need to sit down and actually start doing them, especially now that I'm moved into this new apartment that you see right now with SpongeBob back here,
Hmm.
getting all cozied in. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna start breaking into that shit again because I miss it a lot.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you making some time for us here, and we'll see you guys again in about a month to talk about some more cool. Probably it'll be a spooky themed episode, I imagine, next time.
Yeah, I'm so excited for Halloween. Yes.
But yeah, thank you guys very much. Boo.
Woo!
All right, perfect.